Give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm. It's my firm belief that the AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented groups. Support all your favorite organizations, but make sure you give $5 a month to the AMP program at amp.lrn.fm.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You're 6 minutes away from a live episode of Free Talk Live, brought to you by freekeen.com. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, January 26th, 2018. Silver is trading at $17.42 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,352 per ounce. Zen Cash is trading at $41, and the average price of Bitcoin is $11,493. Antiwar.com reports the U.S. continues to try to ratchet up the tensions with North Korea despite diplomatic progress being made between the two Koreas, and the Treasury Department announced new sanctions on Thursday against 16 people and 6 North Korean flagged ships. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin also called on all nations, particularly China and Russia, to expel all North Koreans from their territory, accusing them of trying to fund the nuclear weapons program by soliciting funds abroad and evading sanctions. International interest in enforcing sanctions, particularly those imposed by the United States, has its limits. However, and recent reports suggest that North Korea has found itself new ways to evade sanctions, limiting their ability to export coal. Coal exports from North Korea to Russia, according to Reuters, was then passed on to South Korea and Japan, two of the nations that present themselves as most interested in enforcing the sanctions, but which appear less eager to go digging for technical violations through intermediaries. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. UPI reports the engineer at the helm of an Amtrak train that crashed in December and killed 3 people in Washington state mistook a signal on the tracks at the curve where the train derailed. The 55-year-old engineer and the 48-year-old conductor, who were in the lead locomotive at the time of the crash, were seriously injured and unable to answer questions from investigators until last week. The National Transportation Safety Board said the engineer reported he felt rested and was not distracted by the presence of the conductor, who is there to become familiar with the tracks and the territory. In a news release, the NTSB said the engineer knew there would be a curve with a 30-mile-per-hour speed limit at milepost 19.8, but he did not remember seeing milepost 18 or the 30-mile-per-hour advanced speed sign. The release said, as soon as he saw the 30-mile-per-hour sign at the start of the curve, he applied the brakes. Seconds later, the train derailed as it entered the curve. The NTSB said it is considering human performance, signals, train control, the tracks, and engineering in its investigation, which is expected to last 1 to 2 years. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports President Donald Trump is offering a path to citizenship for up to 1.8 million young undocumented immigrants, but insists on measures that would curb some legal immigration programs and provide a border wall with Mexico, according to a senior White House official on Thursday. The White House offered to more than double the number of Dreamers who would be protected from deportation, describing it as a major concession aimed at attracting enough votes for an immigration deal from Democrats. But the plan comes with significant strings attached to appeal to Republicans Republicans, including requirements to slash family sponsorship of immigrants, tighten border security, and provide billions of dollars in funding for a border wall with Mexico that Trump made one of his major campaign promises. The package was immediately panned by pro-immigration groups, which said the plan was a bad trade-off. It was also slammed by some conservative groups, which decried the expansion of amnesty for undocumented immigrants. The leader of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, Democratic Representative Michelle Lujan Grisham, said the Trump plan used Dreamers as a bargaining chip for sweeping anti-immigration policies. Early reaction from some Republicans in the Senate, where the plan may receive a vote in early February, was positive. Negotiations will be tough, with Democratic Senator Dick Durbin, who has championed the cause of Dreamers, saying the plan puts Trump's entire hardline immigration agenda, including massive cuts to legal immigration, on the backs of these young people. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Well, our own Rebecca Mera takes us on a tour of the Olympic Village.
We have a full-size bed, lounge area, showers, plenty of space, which is great because I'm constantly having sex in there.
The Village is a temporary home to the world's most physically impressive athletic men and women. It was important to the Olympic Committee to give them a comfortable, state-of-the-art area to each other's brains out while they're not competing.
We have a pool where they can have a sex, a theater where they can have a sex. All these athletes are hot, horny, ready to go. They deserve the best.
I was in Vancouver where I got eaten out by this French speed skater. And I have to say, these facilities are even better, and I'm going to try to a Japanese guy.
You've spared no expense.
These athletes deserve the best. They sacrifice so much for their countries. They deserve to be able to until their and can't take it anymore.
And these facilities won't go to waste. Once the Olympics are over, they'll be converted to a resort where Russian businessmen can come to their prostitutes.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. You're welcome to join us on the radio waves. You can take control of those airwaves here toll free at 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype as well, so feel free to Skype on into the show. That's Skype username LRN.FM. Or you can use our new Discord on-air call-in line, which is available to you. Go to discord.lrn.fm. You do have to jump into our Discord first before you can do that. But I would say that over the last couple of weeks, we're brand new to Discord. It's worked out very well. We've got over 200 people who've joined within the last 2 weeks.
Wow.
Which makes us the largest libertarian Discord out there, which is really just saying that there isn't much in the world of libertarian Discords, apparently. So we've already topped that. And so you can get interactive there, discord.lrn.fm. You can chat with other listeners, by the way. That is kind of the primary thing that Discord is for. But it's also a voice chat option. So we made a little room just for you to call into the show there. And no, you can't say the F word on the air. That did happen to Darryl earlier as he was hosting Call to Freedom today for Will Coley, who was out over on LRN.FM. So we'll talk to you about whatever's on your mind. We got loot box controversy apparently on the way. Did you know that loot boxes could be controversial? Do you know what a loot box is?
I didn't know.
It's a box with loot?
Yeah. I almost didn't know what one was until I read the article.
We're going to get into it coming
now,
up here.
If you put an F at the beginning of that, it's a flute box, which is a box that you use to carry your flute.
That is... Yep, that's different. So we can talk about that. Also on the way here, the story about the Freedom Index. Apparently, finally, the United States has risen on the Freedom Index. It had been dropping year after year, it seemed. I believe dropping as far down as like somewhere in the 20s.
Number 24 last year.
Yeah, so you're going to give us the updated numbers here in a little bit. We'll get to that as well. But we actually
I will say this: only one of the countries in the top 5 is actually a republic.
We will get into that a little deeper here in moments. But first, we've got a special guest on the line with us here. It's somebody who I haven't seen in, several years. But I remember him coming to the Liberty Forums and Pork Fests, which are some of the events that happen up here in New Hampshire as part of this sort of New Hampshire freedom movement that has been going on for well over a decade. He's Stephen Cobb, and he's on the line in California. Hello, Stephen.
Hey, Ian.
Hey, welcome to the program here tonight. I actually didn't book you for this interview, but Mark Edge, who is one of our other co-hosts, I guess, had been talking to you, and you are a part of the Center for Election Sciences, which is an organization that I encountered a couple years ago. I encountered them at a hearing that we were at, Darryl, in the State House.
I was actually aware of the Center for Election Sciences well before that hearing a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm. Well, I figured you were, because you are into alternative voting techniques or methods, systems, and Stephen, that's what you wanted to get into here tonight, was right? I mean, that's the kind of the reason we're having you here.
That's correct.
What is sparking all of this? Like, is there something in the news? Is there some sort of thing that made you say, I really need to contact Free Talk Live and talk to them about approval voting or whatever other voting systems you happen to be a fan of?
Yes. For the first time in history, as far as I know, there are 2 voting reform bills in one state at one time.
Really?
That's in New Hampshire right now.
Darryl, that didn't happen before?
No, the other time there were 2 versions of approval voting. One was to allow towns to do it, and the other was to have it implemented statewide.
Okay.
This year, there's a bill to allow approval voting, and there's another bill to institute ranked choice voting, which is the fancy new term for instant runoff.
Okay, and that's the one where you write numbers or whatever, you check numbers or something next to the
Generally, they don't have you write the number. You would fill in an oval
of some sort,
of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
based on this is my first, best, favorite, my second.
Right. And now, one of the things that was mentioned
if you
during
can have
the
a
hearing,
favorite with these people, I mean, I guess the least offensive, the first least offensive.
Correct. Correct. Now, one of the things that was mentioned, because New Hampshire does have some multi-member districts, and a couple of them are fairly large. The largest elects 11 state reps. And now that there are 3 qualified parties for the ballot,
the Libertarians,
assuming that all 3 parties run a full slate of candidates, and assuming anybody petitions on as an independent or Green Party, Constitution Party, etc., then and plus you have to have the ballot line for write-ins, 11 of them, because there are 11 spots. You could wind up having upwards of 50 or 60 candidates that would need to be ranked. So coming up with a ballot with all of those ovals could be kind of tricky in such a large district.
Got it. Now, I happened to be there on the day, it was this week, I think it was.
Tuesday. It was Tuesday.
Where they heard these bills, Stephen.
Correct. And I've shared audio with Stephen that I've not yet shared publicly of the testimony from the hearings. Now, Ian, I know that you
the video isn't public
video
yet either.
recording.
That'll be this weekend.
And the only audio that I plan to release is my personal testimony.
I see. I'll be releasing the entire hearing on video. So Stephen, I mean, what's your favorite voting system? Is it the approval voting? Is it the ranked choice? Because with the approval, for listeners that are unfamiliar, that's just where you check the boxes for the ones that you like, the ones that you'd be okay with getting elected, basically. So it's a lot simpler, it seems. But what do you think?
Well, it really matters on the election you're talking about. So there's no one best voting method. It depends on the organization, the number of voters, the number of candidates, the nature of the decision, whether it's a single winner or a multi-winner.
Okay.
Whether it's repeating over time.
Well, let's look at government, since that's the organization that most people are voting in, and that's the one that
and
is a lot harder to change.
These 2 bills would only affect government elections. It would not mandate, like local bylaws, etc.
Yeah, my organization does not flog a single method, right? We recommend methods based on the customer, so to speak. So for a large political election, we would tend to recommend approval voting as being a generally very good method. Produces very.
When you say large, you mean large in the number of candidates, large in the number of voters?
Number of voters.
Okay.
Right, because it's really enough to say approve, disapprove for each candidate, instead of, for example, rating each one on a scale of 0 to 5,
right,
which is another decent method. You don't need that kind of granularity if you've got, a million voters.
What if you only have 1,000 voters?
At some stage, and I can't tell you what that threshold is or the trade-off, but you might like to see a rating of disapprove, neutral, approve, or strongly disapprove, neutral.
Well, what about something like board account? And for people that might not, I know that you're familiar with the term, and I'm familiar, but I'm guessing a lot of other people might not be familiar. So board account is, you would still, use a ranking of this person is, my least offensive, so he gets a number 1. This person gets a 2, 3, 4, etc. You are allowed in board account in most situations to give multiple people the same ranking. So you could give 2 teams a number 1. It's generally used in ranking college football.
Okay.
So you could give 2 teams a number 1 vote. You could rank 2 teams as number 25, but then they would give a number of points. So a 1 is 25 points, a 2 is 24, etc., etc. And then whoever winds up with the most points winds up being the winner. So what were your thoughts on board account for, say, a multi-member district of 11 state reps?
Yeah, that was actually my introduction to voting theory, was board account, and I was enamored with it when I first heard about it. But the devil's in the details, as with all of these voting methods.
Stand by, Stephen. We're going to bring you back here. I presume you have time to continue the discussion.
Sure.
Stephen Cobb is with us here from the Center for Election Sciences. Is there more than one election science? And how is it that elections are scientific? I don't know. We'll get into all that coming up here in moments.
Let's ask Stephen.
Yeah, this is Free Talk Live.
Ike was such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, oh! My dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas. I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
The digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished.
Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. 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 I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at shiresociety.com. That's shiresociety.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free here and bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got Skype at Skype username LRN.FM, although we've actually got a special guest on Skype right now. So if you call on Skype, you'll have to wait. If you've got a question for our guest, you do need to call the regular call-in lines at 855-450-FREE. And you can join us and our guest there. Our guest is Stephen Cobb from the Center for Election Sciences. We're going to continue with him, but I also do want to let you know about Bitcoin.com, where if you want to go and learn about cryptocurrency, you got to learn about the one that created them all, which was Bitcoin. And go to Bitcoin.com to learn about that and get started on understanding the basics about cryptocurrency. But if you are not brand new to Bitcoin, you want to get the latest news headlines, Bitcoin.com has those as well, and they've got them every single day with fresh headlines up there at news.bitcoin.com.
Now, here's an interesting headline from a few hours ago. The Arsenal Football Club is partnering with a gambling ICO.
The Arsenal Football Club? Is that from Gunnersville?
No.
No. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to read the headline.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, so we'll I was just wondering what the Arsenal was. What the heck is that?
It's football. I think it's a European team somewhere. I'll find out exactly. The Arsenal Football Club is a professional football club based in Highbury, London.
Okay. Oh, so it's that kind of football.
Yeah, it's soccer. It's a soccer team.
Got it. Okay.
I'm sorry. I listen to way too many British podcasts to where just in my head, whenever I hear football club, I know, they mean soccer.
So I don't follow either, and when I get confused all the time because of the same reasons.
So Stephen Cobb is with us here, and he's in California today, actually with the Center for Election Sciences. Stephen, what is the what's the website for the center?
Yeah, it's electology.org.
Excellent. Electology.org. So we're talking about the different voting systems that are out there, and I guess what sparked this conversation was you pointed out that apparently in the first time in history anywhere, or maybe just in the U.S., there are two bills in New Hampshire that are proposing to change the election system to actually, possibly either approval voting or the instant runoff, a.k.a.
Right. They're calling it ranked choice, which seems to be the new in vogue term for IRV, because over the past couple of decades, there have been municipalities around the country that have implemented and then rescinded said implementation of instant runoff voting. So changing the term, you wind up not having the stigma attached, but it's still basically the same thing. But one thing that's interesting, because there are a lot of forms of ranked choice voting, and they largely have to do with how you wind up tabulating votes after the first round. I was reading up on a method earlier today called the Cambridge method that's used in Cambridge, Massachusetts, that eliminates any candidate with fewer than 50 votes, which means if you've got a small organization and you're using some form of ranked choice, you do not want to use the Cambridge method for determining your winners.
So Stephen Cobb is with us here from the Center for Election Sciences. What is election science? I'm just, I'm not a scientist, so I'm not sure how this system with which people use to elect gang members is in any way considered to be a science.
Well, we use 3 methods to analyze voting methods. And by the way, we create some of our own for different purposes. Like the Hugo Awards was created, their method was created by one of our guys.
What method do they use? I'm just curious.
Oh, it's you can vote for as many as you want, and each candidate gets, let's say if you vote for 5 candidates, each candidate gets 1/5 of your vote.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
And then
so that would then
so the more you break it up.
Right. So the one of the arguments against adopting approval voting was, well, wouldn't somebody that bullet voted have more power with their bullet vote than if somebody voted for, say, 4 of the 5 candidates?
It would seem the opposite is the case.
Not under approval, but under that system that the Hugo Awards uses, that bullet vote would have more power.
Powerful. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is
That's
interesting.
Right. Yeah, so we would disagree with that objection that voting for multiple candidates gives you more, more voting power. However, the Hugo method does answer that objection. Yes.
Got it.
So we study methods in 3 different ways. The first is the traditional mathematical way. This is a mathematical science, and we have people who can make mathematical proofs and prove things. A guy got a Nobel Prize once for voting theory related theory, Kenneth Arrow. But we also use simulations. So we can generate simulated results, and with voters using different degrees of strategy, and we can compare how methods perform with whether the voters are completely honest or completely strategic or somewhere in between. And then we also use real-world data. So we've conducted polls ourselves. For example, in 2016, during the general election, we conducted a poll which produced the interesting result that Bernie Sanders was actually the people's choice, if you can believe that, of the remaining high-profile candidates.
I see.
Yeah.
So,
and,
go ahead, please.
Yeah, and we analyze other real-world data. So those are the 3 methods you can use to assess the performance of a voting method.
So the science is like there's a hypothesis of this voting method is going to be this effective, and then you test it?
Yes, exactly. And every creator of voting methods, and there's people out there who are creating these things all the time, they're enamored with their own creation, and they think it's going to solve all the problems.
And they don't see the faults in it.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys do.
You have to put it out there for the community, and then they attack it.
Well, so one of the big challenges here is actually trying to get the government to even understand some of this stuff. While we were, and again, you'll be able to see this once the video hits, and it will be on the Free Keen YouTube channel.
That was pretty hilarious. Sometime
this weekend, later this weekend, likely because I'm constantly backed up.
Right.
But it will come out, and you can go out. You can garner from the questions that the state reps are asking just how flummoxed they are by certainly the one with the ranked choice. That one just seemed to go way over a bunch of their heads. Approval voting, I think, is just easier to explain. It's easier to understand.
This is also not the first time that they've heard approval voting, many of them.
Right.
Because there was the bill 2 years ago, even though there was sizable turnover on that committee, about half of the committee had heard the arguments 2 years prior.
And it wasn't just 2 years ago. This thing's been in front of them for several years, according to one of the bill's original sponsors. I think back in 2011 was when he said he first put it forth. So this is not an easy thing to do, which is to say to change the system, especially the voting system. We'll continue with some of those challenges here, and Stephen Cobb is with us from the Center for Election Sciences here on Free Talk Live.
The answer to being in control of your own healthcare is freedom from insurance. Become part of a group of self-pay patients that come together to share in each other's medical expenses. Individual share amounts begin at $107 a month and $347 for families. Choose from 3 health-sharing programs. Holistic treatments may be eligible for sharing. See guidelines. Discount programs available for dental, vision, and pharmacy. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
It's a no-brainer. A Big Berkey water filter is the one you need, period. You need a water filter that removes chlorine, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, BPA, and other endocrine disruptors, pesticides, bacteria, viruses, and much more, right? And does it all at only 2 cents per gallon. Get the original and most trusted name in gravity water filtration, Big Berkey. And now GCN listeners receive 5% off ceramic filter systems using code GCN. Call or click 1-877-99-BERKEY or BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Never, ever send a follow-up email asking, "Did you get my email?" Email 101. If it didn't bounce back undeliverable, it got where you sent it. And avoid transmedia pestering, like calling to ask, "Did you get my email?" or emailing to say, "I left you a voicemail." If your emails and voicemails aren't being acknowledged, your problem isn't technology, it's technique. Is your message concise and understandable? Have you boiled it down to seem as relevant as possible to the recipient? In other words, is it the opposite of spam or junk mail? All of this really matters if you're a job seeker. But even if you're not, with money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. You dial in toll free and bring up whatever's on your mind if you want. Our number here is 855-450, free like freedom. And if you call that number now and you have a question for our guest, Stephen Cobb is with us from the Center for Election Science. Apparently, it's only one science, and I got that one wrong, so apologies about that. If you've got a question for him about election types, methods, these different options that are out there, That's what we're discussing at the moment. The number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. If you want to call on Skype or on our Discord at discord.lrn.fm, you'll have to wait patiently, and then we can get to you a little bit later. With you here tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
And Darryl.
Want to let you know about MyPillow. It is a great product designed to fit to the shape of your body and hold your neck in the proper position. We've had ours here for a couple years now, I think, at this point, and they're great. You can try one out for yourself because there's very low risk to trying it out. You get a 60-day money-back guarantee where now you do have to ship it back if you don't like it, but they will refund you your purchase price if you don't like it at MyPillow.com. Use code FTL. You'll get your MyPillow at half price with code FTL, like Free Talk Live, at MyPillow.com. And not only is it a great pillow, but it's also washable. You can put it in your washer and your dryer. It's designed for that. In fact, when you first get it, they ask that you put it in the dryer to help fluff it up. So go and try it for yourself. MyPillow.com. It's guaranteed to last you for at least 10 years with a 10-year warranty. MyPillow.com with code FTL, like Free Talk Live. We got Stephen Cobb with us here. He is on Skype from the Center for Election Science. Was it electology.com or .org? I apologize.
.org.
.org.
Yeah, and I'm actually looking at one of the blog posts that you made from 2016, and I sent this via email to the members of the House Election Committee here in New Hampshire because, again, they heard that bill earlier this week to allow approval voting. And one of the objections, if you will, that was raised a couple of years ago was that, well, if we pass this, then everybody's just going to wind up marking a ballot for everybody, and then, it's like nobody actually voted, blah, da, 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 da. And, well, I'm glad that in late 2016, you guys did this study where you gave people a ballot with 4 candidates, and you said vote for as many as you like. 81% wound up voting for only one candidate. 15% wound up voting for 2 candidates. 4% wound up voting for 3 candidates. And your thing says here 0%, but I'm guessing that at least one person probably marked all 4 candidates, so I'm just going to say less than 1%.
Well, it would depend on, what kind of an election it is. For example, if you're voting with some friends on where to go for lunch, you might vote for all the candidates because you're okay with all the restaurants.
Right. But again, this is the research that was done by your center specifically about the presidential election. And we're talking about government elections here because these bills deal with government ballots.
In a political setting where you typically dislike many of the candidates, you would probably pretty rarely vote for all of them. Right.
So, yeah.
And that basically has the same effect as turning in a blank ballot.
It would, yes. It wouldn't make any difference. Although not entirely, because when you vote, you're sending a message as well as making the choice, right? You're showing your support for a party.
If you don't vote, then the message doesn't really get out there. If you don't mark a ballot, then that message doesn't get out. The only way to get a message out would be to have none of the above as an option, and then someone could vote for that.
Which they do in Nevada. However, it is not a binding option. There have been elections where none of the above got a majority of the votes, and the human candidate with the most votes,
how unfortunate,
still wound up being elected.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Bad Slave on the line here. He's got a question for you, Stephen. Bad, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead. Bad Slave?
You know me, but not as Bad Slave.
Okay, but you called in as Bad Slave, so go ahead with your question.
Bad Slave at the moment. So anyway, Steve, we talked before, a little bit about some of this stuff years ago, and I know you're still on it. I think that there are better ways of selecting a better candidate, and I encourage your exploration of that. I think we're probably not going to get very far with that, as far as I could tell.
When you say we're not going to get really far with that, are you referring to it's hard to change the system?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
These guys, this is a very, very, I don't know, stuck in the mud kind of conservative realm. And
let's be clear. I mean, how many places, this one you probably know, Stephen, how many states actually use approval or ranked choice voting in their general or primary elections?
States, very few. You've got
in the United States.
Yeah, you have a couple states that have had initiatives to implement IRV, but they didn't follow through with it for various reasons because of the expense of the transition, or in the case of Maine recently, their state Supreme Court declared it constitutionally problematic, let's say.
Right, because this is a ballot initiative?
The Maine Constitution, much like the New Hampshire Constitution, and this was raised during the ranked choice hearing, they both mention the word plurality when determining election winners. Ranked choice voting requires a majority.
Okay.
So if your constitution requires only a plurality...
So to get ranked choice, you'd have to update the constitution.
Correct.
Ooh. But what about approval?
Approval voting does not require any modification to majority, plurality, etc.
So that could go through.
Approval voting would be constitutional in both New Hampshire and Maine, and any other state.
And you'd only have to pass it with a vote of the House and the Senate.
And any other state with the word plurality or majority in their constitution.
And in fact, I introduced approval voting into the Bitcoin Foundation's voting method, into their voting methods. Yeah, they were using simple plurality voting and suffering from vote splitting terribly. So they had one board election where I think the top vote getter had like 23%, and of course they don't have a mandate or even support. So what was compatible with the Bitcoin Foundation's bylaws was, the majority requirement was approval voting. You can measure that easily, plurality or majority. With IRV, these words plurality and majority don't have a clear meaning. Okay, and also with the other more advanced voting methods, it's not clear what, like board account you mentioned. What does majority mean in that context? I wouldn't even know.
Right.
Bad Slave, did you have a question? I don't know if we ever even got to it.
There was another question, the answer, again, is kind of obvious to me that it's a problematic thing, and now there's all other realms than the whole political thing, and I think the political thing is problematic right out of the box, and so I say to Steve, don't we first need to decide what's a reasonable thing to actually be selecting with the vote, as opposed to how you vote? I mean, I think there are better methods, as you described.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about throwing out the entire system, I'm with you there. Thanks, Bad Slave, but unfortunately, that's not going to happen anytime soon. So, meanwhile, while people still believe in the idea of government, wouldn't it make sense to have voting systems that actually make a little more sense? And I would say yes. However, getting the politicians to agree to that is going to be a whole other problem, especially given the fact that I think, Darryl, maybe you and like one other or a couple other people were in favor of this. There weren't many people that turned out for the approval voting bill. More coming up. It's Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Free Talk Live.
Wire 47 plus nations going down and blockading what is called the South Pole.
Where did you hear this?
Look it up, mate.
Okay, I'm looking
Where
right
you
now.
Do
but
your research.
Well, no. See, when somebody calls in and makes a claim, they should be able to back that claim. So if you're telling me that's happening, then I'd like to see some sort of proof of that. Now, a quick Google search for South Pole blockade.
Oh, you trust Google, do you?
Okay, well, what search engine should I use? Where would I find information about this?
You can do WikiLeaks, Wikipedia, or WikiLeaks.
Okay, don't say the S word or else we're going to have to drop your call.
Dude, it's all over the news.
No, you can't say that on
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here toll free. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. Although if you want to get on in this hour, you'll need to have a question for our special guest, Stephen Cobb from the Center for Election Science at electology.org. In the studio tonight with you, it's Ian.
And Chris.
And Darryl.
We're talking about alternative voting methods and systems like approval voting, where people can just check off as many candidates as they wouldn't mind seeing elected. Or the ranked choice, where people will rank based on preference. So 1, 2, 3, which one is your the least offensive candidate, the second least offensive candidate. These are two of the voting systems, and there's a bunch of them, but these are the two that are being proposed right now in New Hampshire. And Stephen, you said it's the first time anywhere that there's ever been 2 proposed bills in front of a state house. Now, I don't know if that's really that noteworthy because they're probably both going to get shot down and go down in flames.
Right, but generally, there's only one proposed modification at a time.
Sure, but it's New Hampshire State House has 400 members in it. If 2 different ones want to put in 2 different bills, they do, and they have in this particular case.
It only took 100 and something years after the government started printing ballots before they introduced 2 different versions.
Right. And, of course, everything that has been introduced in the past, in the last times that I've been in there watching, have gone down in flames. The bureaucrats or the politicians in this case, they don't understand what it is that they're looking at. They don't really seem to care to understand.
Now, I will say that this time, the current vice chair of the committee, who made the recommendation to kill the approval voting bills 2 years ago, who was not at the hearings 2 years ago, at least she was at the hearings this time.
Right, she had to be there because she was chairing the hearing.
Yeah.
In that particular case. And so we'll see if she proposes to kill the bill again this year, because this woman is supposedly a Liberty rep.
And was also supposedly well-informed about approval voting, so she didn't need to be at the hearing. And then when I asked her if she was aware of the Center for Election Science, said, I've never heard of that.
Had she been at the hearing, she would have heard of it
right.
in that case.
And she would have heard from, I believe, Aaron Hamlin, who's the head.
Didn't he drive up from D.C. or something like that?
Yeah. Stephen, you still on the line?
We had him. I don't know where he went. Oh, did I mute him? He's muted. That's my bad. Stephen, you're back with us. Apologies.
I was muted. Aaron Hamlin is the executive director for CES. He drove up. Jameson Quinn has been up there as well.
So we're hoping that maybe this thing will have a chance to get out of the committee. But last time, didn't it die with no support whatsoever?
Yeah,
Correct.
18 to you have to explain it. Well, first of all, in terms they understand.
Right.
Which is hard. This is not. It seems simple to those of us who've been in it for a while, but really, everybody else, their first reaction is, but doesn't that violate one man, one vote?
That happened. Somebody came up with that objection.
What was the ice cream example that you were given the other day, Darryl? That was interesting.
That was not me. That was the sponsor of the ranked choice.
Oh, okay.
Thing.
Right. They were kind of explaining, an ice cream vote where people could vote. But what I suggested afterwards was maybe somebody should actually bring ice cream in and have an actual pass out ballots.
Now, here's
You'd have to
the
get
problem.
Special permission probably to do that, though, I would guess.
I don't know if you would need special permission, but you would need to make sure that the value of the ice cream is less than $25, so that then there's no requirement to fill out an ethics form.
That shouldn't be a problem. Ice cream's not that expensive. But anyway,
right. But there's 20 members of the committee, so you've got to get enough ice cream to feed the entire
committee. You wouldn't give them a whole bowl of ice cream. You just
it's just a demo.
Right?
Yeah,
you give them a little Dixie cup or something like that. It wouldn't be a big deal.
See,
and half of them are never there anyway, Darryl. It's like you're lucky if the half the committee is there paying attention.
True, and then you would want the 3 people sitting in the audience to get ice cream as well.
Yeah, it would be nice. So yeah, I mean,
here you go, Deputy Scanlon. Here's some chocolate vanilla swirl ice cream in a tiny little cup.
That's, by the way, you say deputy. It might sound like a cop. That's
he's the Deputy Secretary of State.
Right? So he's just a regular old bureaucrat that comes in there and usually testifies against this stuff. Although he wasn't testifying in this particular case, was he?
Correct. He
was
did
suspicious.
He did provide informational testimony to the ranked choice bill,
but then he disappeared.
That his informational only stuff a lot of times turns into, here's all the reasons you shouldn't pass it.
Of course, he may normally he testifies against these things, but maybe he put in a written testimony that you don't know that he put in, so maybe he did testify against it in written form. We don't know.
I don't know.
We don't know. But one of the nice things about being in New Hampshire is it's easy to get to know a lot of these state reps and actually contact them, and some of them really do listen, and some of them really do want to hear what you have to say, and that's something that's I think going to be refreshing for a lot of people that might have noticed that in a lot of other states you can't even talk to the state reps. They don't want to talk to you. They've got staff It's their staff's job to talk to you. In New Hampshire, they don't have staff. The state reps, they have a locker.
They don't even have an office.
Yeah, they have a locker that they can keep stuff in.
If they're lucky, they have a locker.
Are there not enough lockers?
Some of them have desk drawers.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's what it's like here. It's very, very different than in other places. So, Stephen, why did you end up leaving New Hampshire? I heard you moved here for a few years, and then you moved to California. That seems like the very wrong direction to go in for somebody that cares about freedom.
No. I moved to Berlin, Germany, actually. Yeah, that's the...
Also, not a very freedom-oriented place.
It seems like
a lot of crypto anarchists out there. You'd be surprised. Although
that's probably true.
Your Manchester Bitcoin meetings, your weekly Manchester Bitcoin meetings, are as big as our monthly Bitcoin meetups.
Ah, okay.
So,
well, yeah. We've got an amazing cryptocurrency community here in New Hampshire. So, I mean, you moved to New Hampshire. Germany's not exactly a warm place. What was it that led you out of New Hampshire?
Okay, because I've got family over there. I've got kids in Russia. My brother's in the UK. So
yeah. Okay.
I had various reasons.
Gotcha.
So, but I'm still focused on New Hampshire. It's I compare it to Israel. Not all Jews live in Israel. Not all Mormons live in Utah, but all Jews are very aware of Israel, and all Mormons are very aware of Utah. So New Hampshire's pretty much now set as the libertarian epicenter of the world.
Good. I'm glad you're still paying attention. I'm glad you're still working for more freedom in New Hampshire. So you would recommend then that libertarians and voluntarists and liberty-loving anarchists pick up their lives and move to New Hampshire?
Certainly. It's not for everybody, of course, but everybody should certainly visit New Hampshire. They should attend a pork fest or something, and I recommend biathlon as something to try out in the winter. It makes the cold season seem a little less scary if you're out there skiing and shooting. So go check out New Hampshire, and you might find it's for you. You might find it's not quite for you, but you'll still find yourself coming back.
Excellent. And was there anything else that you wanted to share with our audience tonight about electology.org, the Center for Election Science?
Well, I should mention that in connection with this, the publicity surrounding these two bills, we're hosting a big panel discussion at the upcoming Liberty Forum.
Huh, okay.
So the 10th of February in Manchester, there will be a 6 or 7 member panel discussion. They cover the spectrum. These are leftists, libertarians, maybe even a conservative or two. Politicians, in fact, both prime sponsors of these bills will be speaking. We have theorists, a guy coming up from Harvard, all kinds of people to discuss, and not just these two voting methods, but a few other ones. There's another famous one you should know about called STAR. That's score, then automatic runoff, and maybe a couple more.
Okay.
So, because all these methods have their pros and cons. And in New Hampshire, a big issue is that these are multi-member districts. These are not single-winner elections.
Right.
So even I'm not convinced of the answer. So
got it.
Highly recommend attending Liberty Forum.
But many of these options would be better than what we have. The current system doesn't give people choices. It doesn't let them feel like they can vote for who they really want. We've been, as libertarians, we've been facing the wasted vote syndrome for as long as I can remember, which is many years. And these are both systems that can eliminate the wasted vote syndrome, which, again, is the idea of somebody saying, oh, well, I like you libertarians, but I'm afraid that Trump or Hillary is going to win, so I have to vote for Trump or Hillary.
One thing, I'm glad you mentioned Trump, because if we had approval voting, Trump never would have won the primaries, let alone been elected president, because his approval ratings were so low. There were other people that had much higher approval ratings, but they didn't have that really strong support of people that said, I'm willing to cast my ballot for that person.
We'll see how it goes this year. I know you're going to be watching these closely, Darryl, so I'm sure you'll update us as the votes move ahead on these issues. And Stephen Cobb from the Center for Election Science, thanks for being with us tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Very good, sir.
Pleasure.
Thanks. All right, more coming up here in moments. We've got hour number 2 on the way. Loot boxes. What are they, first of all? Because a lot of our listeners probably have no idea. And why are they controversial now? It's Free Talk Live.
Message and data rates may apply. Oh my gosh, that's Frank Thomas. No. Yes, that's him. Go ahead. Excuse me, are you Frank Thomas?
Yes, I am.
I bet you get recognized a lot.
I was a pretty good ball player.
You were?
Some people thought so.
Sorry, we recognize you from those Nugenix commercials.
Oh, yeah? That's great.
So does Nugenix really work?
Oh, yeah. I really can feel the difference. My workouts are better, and I feel a lot more energetic.
I wish my husband would use Nugenix.
It's so easy to get started. All you have to do is send one simple text.
Text the word PRIME44 to 42424 for a complimentary bottle of award-winning Nugenix, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Its unique man-boosting formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help a man feel stronger, leaner, more energetic, and more passionate.
And you're going to like the difference, too.
Text PRIME44 to 42424 for a complimentary bottle of Nugenix. Samples are not available in stores. Text PRIME44 to 42424.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, January 26th, 2018. Silver is trading at $17.42 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,352 per ounce. Zen Cash is trading at $41, and the average price of Bitcoin is $11,493. Antiwar.com reports the U.S. continues to try to ratchet up the tensions with North Korea despite diplomatic progress being made between the two Koreas, and the Treasury Department announced new sanctions on Thursday against 16 people and 6 North Korean flagged ships. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin also called on all nations, particularly China and Russia, to expel all North Koreans from their territory, accusing them of trying to fund the nuclear weapons program by soliciting funds abroad and evading sanctions. International interest in enforcing sanctions, particularly those imposed by the United States, has its limits. However, and recent reports suggest that North Korea has found itself new ways to evade sanctions, limiting their ability to export coal. Coal exports from North Korea to Russia, according to Reuters, was then passed on to South Korea and Japan, two of the nations that present themselves as most interested in enforcing the sanctions, but which appear less eager to go digging for technical violations through intermediaries. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. UPI reports the engineer at the helm of an Amtrak train that crashed in December and killed 3 people in Washington state mistook a signal on the tracks at the curve where the train derailed. The 55-year-old engineer and the 48-year-old conductor, who were in the lead locomotive at the time of the crash, were seriously injured and unable to answer questions from investigators until last week. The National Transportation Safety Board said the engineer reported he felt rested and was not distracted by the presence of the conductor, who is there to become familiar with the tracks and the territory. safety. In a news release, the NTSB said the engineer knew there would be a curve with a 30-mile-per-hour speed limit at milepost 19.8, but he did not remember seeing milepost 18 or the 30-mile-per-hour advanced speed sign. The release said, as soon as he saw the 30-mile-per-hour sign at the start of the curve, he applied the brakes. Seconds later, the train derailed as it entered the curve. The NTSB said it is considering human performance, signals, train control, the tracks, and engineering in its investigation, which is expected to last 1 to 2 years.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
Reuters reports President Donald Trump is offering a path to citizenship for up to 1.8 million young undocumented immigrants, but insists on measures that would curb some legal immigration programs and provide a border wall with Mexico, according to a senior White House official on Thursday. The White House offered to more than double the number of Dreamers who would be protected from deportation, describing it as a major concession aimed at attracting enough votes for an immigration deal from Democrats. But the plan comes with significant strings attached to appeal to Republicans, including requirements to slash family sponsorship of immigrants, tighten border security, and provide billions of dollars in funding for a border wall with Mexico that Trump made one of his major campaign promises. The package was immediately panned by pro-immigration groups, which said the plan was a bad trade-off. It was also slammed by some conservative groups, which decried the expansion of amnesty for undocumented immigrants. The leader of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, Democratic Representative Michelle Lujan Grisham, said the Trump plan used Dreamers as a bargaining chip for sweeping anti-immigration policies. Early reaction from some Republicans in the Senate, where the plan may receive a vote in early February, was positive. Negotiations will be tough, with Democratic Senator Dick Durbin, who has championed the cause of Dreamers, saying the plan puts Trump's entire hardline immigration agenda, including massive cuts to legal immigration, on the backs of these young people. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
I'm getting joined by Ellie Granderson. She's going to put a feminine scope on these lace kerchief starbuggers and give us her lady opinion. Ellie?
Hi, Joe.
You know, it riles me up every time you walk in here, Ellie. You set my blood to dancing with all your pillowy parts.
Oh, stop it, Joe.
Now give it to me, no fimble famble, Ellie. When we start dusting these rocket boys' lily white bottoms with baby puff?
Joe, since the end of the Cold War, NASA has basically functioned as a giveaway to the American aerospace industry, wasting trillions of taxpayer dollars every year on extravagant programs with no tangible benefit.
Fine and plum to look at, all the sense of a badger to boot.
Joe.
Now I've been thinking on, I got these three little chickens pecking on my head. Will save NASA some coin. Man wants to go to space, can strap on the helmet, climb in the cannon, let the Chinese gunpowder carry him off among the stars. Y'all come back now. Gonna skin a fox in one throat, and you're gonna fancy on it.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the second hour of the program here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well, so feel free to Skype into the show. It's Skype username LRN.FM. And you can also join us in the on-air call-in line room on Discord at discord.lrn.fm. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
And Darryl.
Still to come tonight here, we can, of course, talk about anything that happens to be on your mind. On the way, though, Darryl, you wanted to talk about the Freedom Index, the World Freedom Index.
Freedom Index.
Yeah, but first, let's talk about loot boxes. Now, we actually were talking during the break about what kind of loot boxes we're discussing here, because there are a couple of different kinds. There's the physical reality, you can get this thing shipped to you every month loot box.
And there's a podcast that I listened to where the guy subscribes to a run box. That's one of these, loot crate sort of things, but it's all about running. And he does a segment on his podcast when it comes in, What's in the Box? Where he
opens up the thing and talks about all of the really cool stuff that he got.
Is it really cool? Because I mean, whenever I've seen these things, I always think like, and for listeners that don't know, it's like you said, it's some sort of theme, something that the person's purportedly interested in,
right?
And then they just send random crap to you, and you pay them for it. And whenever I've seen these, because I saw like a couple of I've seen like some video game podcasts on like YouTube, for instance, and they did one of these loot box opening things, and I just thought, boy, even if I was into video games as much as these guys are, and I like gaming, but I'm not, deep into the world of it. Even if I was deep into it and a fan, I would have still thought this was a bunch of crap. Like, it's just a bunch of random stuff that there's maybe one thing in there that might be kind of cool, and maybe sometimes it's more than one thing that's kind of cool, but I was just like not impressed at all.
So like the running boxes, they'll wind up sending you here's a new gel. So
like a pair of insoles?
No. So I've actually got a box of gels. So a lot of people, when running long distances,
gel.
Yes,
Okay.
You can't eat. A lot of people can't eat solid foods, but you're out there for 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
You
got to
need
have nutrients
to bring in calories.
Okay.
So here's a little package with
little gels.
A flavored goo is a name brand. It's spelled GU.
Okay.
But there are a lot of versions of that.
Right.
So here's a sample of this, or here's this honey wafer thing with extra protein.
So is this a way for these companies to just kind of get their product out there? Is that what's going on?
Yeah. So here's a sample. Try it, and if you like it, here's where you can buy these products.
And so that's interesting, because then you're paying, right, to have these companies send you their products. They're probably paying the Loot Crate company to ship it out, and then you're paying them to receive their promotional items. I mean, it's brilliant for the Loot Crate company. There's no doubt about it.
Yes.
But like, I don't know. I just got to, if it were me, and I'm a pretty frugal guy when it comes to things like...
I'm not going to pay to get one of these things.
Okay. So you weren't even that impressed with what, because if it was impressive, you'd be like, yeah, sign me up, right?
And the reason that I would not is, okay, cool, I just paid you $20 and I like this thing and this thing. Oh, and those things are $20 a piece to actually get a case of?
Right.
No, I'll just buy a case of the stuff.
Well, right. I mean, the idea would be you didn't know you liked it. And the loot crates change from what I understand. So maybe the runner crate's different, but the ones in like gaming...
They send you different stuff every month.
Right. So that's the idea, would be that you would try the thing. If you like it, you don't expect to get more in an upcoming crate.
Correct.
You would then go and buy the thing.
Right,
so,
but you're still subscribed to the service, so next month you get another box of random stuff.
Right. Which is like, I hate crap. And I hate having a cluttered life. I mean, I don't like having all the stuff I already have, but I have to have a lot of it because, we run a radio show, and without blinking boxes and computers and, stuff, that's not going to work. So I always try to keep the things that I have down to a minimum. So I'm just naturally against the idea of loot crates in general, just because it seems like a way to distribute a bunch of crap that people don't generally want. Oh, here's this thing that couldn't sell, like for like an anime loot crate or a video game loot crate. Oh, here are these stickers we couldn't sell in the market, so let's just throw them in this loot crate, and then people get excited about it.
There are ones that are wrestling themed, and it's the same sort of thing of, here's a bobblehead doll of somebody that we couldn't sell these in the stores.
That's the feeling that I get.
Here's
from
a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Here's these
probably
stickers
the cheapest possible T-shirt quality as well would be my guess.
The whole thing reminds me of those people who, and I forget what they call these people, but they collect
hoarders.
Stuff. Hoarders.
Yeah,
and it's like all the stuff that you would never buy. And now you have a lot of it, and it just keeps building up and building up and building up.
No,
and eventually you can't get it out of your house, but you can't get rid of it.
Because it's collectibles.
It's collectibles, yeah.
I used to know somebody, I won't say who it was, a good friend of mine from down in Florida. His mother worked at a Burger King.
Oh, boy.
And she collected, because collections are what lead to a lot of the hoarding, but she had a collection of the toys that you would get in the Happy Meal, or their equivalent of the Happy Meal.
As soon as you said Burger King and collection, that's what I was thinking.
But we're not talking about like, some nice shelving displaying some very, rare toys or something like that.
Nope, cardboard boxes.
We're talking about literally a room in the house that had piled up you couldn't even get into you. There was of course the path, right? Like the worst kind of hoarders, they've got little paths that you can get through the room. But the two doors in the room were relatively near to one another. Like the other room was the garage, and the other one was like the kitchen. So you just had to do a quick 90-degree turn, and you were into the garage door. So the rest of the room that went all the way back was loaded with just Happy Meal toys that she had collected over years, and you couldn't possibly get into the back end of the room. And I can't imagine any of those things are worth very much, if anything at all. I mean, because they're so widely distributed. When those toys come out, there's a ton of them, right? And they're freebies. So
right, but there's always that one that only like a handful of people actually get.
Right, and whether she knows she has it or not, she sure as hell couldn't get to it because it is just in a pile, and it's just so horrifying. But that's actually not the kind of loot boxes that we're talking about. Although since it's Free Talk Live, you can bring up anything you want. I am curious to know, because I bet there's somebody in our audience who's like really into loot crates and is a big fan of one or the other different types out there, because I suspect there's a bunch of different themes based on interests that people have. So what's one of them? If you're a Loot Crate subscriber or loot box, or I'm sure there's different brands that do this. If you get one of these monthly distribution packages, interest distribution packages.
Is that how they work in the games, or are you talking about
No, the gaming ones are different. So we'll get into the games.
You're still talking about we're
talking about the physical delivery of stuff. If you get one of these things and you're like a big fan and you think it's just the best thing ever, then I want to hear from you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. Because, I can be persuaded on this. Maybe there is one out there that's just like, yeah, it's awesome every month. But to me, it just looks like a total crapshoot and mostly a bunch of junk.
It so reminds me of you go into the store and all the bad DVDs, they give you like 5 of them or whatever, and you pay $1 for it. Yeah. And it's like, you never get anything good.
Except it would be like that, except you'd have to randomly grab from the DVD bin and not actually be able to select what DVDs you want. So it would be like a DVD grab bag.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking
just get a bunch of crap.
The DVD grab bags.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the impression I get. Now, I can understand, like, for a kid, this is probably, like, awesome, right? Because it's that feeling of, ooh, the package. Because, everybody likes that, right? Where you order something online and then you forget that you ordered it and it arrives and you're like, ooh, what did I get? I've completely forgotten what it was that I ordered.
Oh, I do that all the time.
Yeah.
You go down to the shipping shack
That's like
and
a
I've got
daily
the
thing for me.
I've got the little note, you've got a package.
Right.
Come to the front desk.
I have no idea what this is.
What do I have?
Yeah. Right. And so there's that, ooh, it's a thing, I don't know what it is. And that is an attractive kind of feeling, to get out of something.
It's like a Christmas present on Christmas.
Now, in the case of forgetting a package you ordered that package, so it's probably something you wanted, at least at the time that you ordered it.
Right.
Whether or not you were inebriated at the time that you ordered it.
Yeah, but sometimes it's just like stuff you need as opposed to stuff you want, at least for me.
Sure. But at least you ordered the thing that you need. Whereas in this, it's just like somebody else, at some company, picked a few things and put it in a box and sent it to you. And so I guess the uncertainty is probably exciting for a lot of people of, ooh, what's it going to be? I have no idea. But what do you think? If you are a subscriber, we'd love to hear about yours. It's Free Talk Live.
Thinking about getting into cryptocurrency? It's time you looked into Dash. Dash is digital money that you can use to send instant and private payments anywhere for pennies. Dash offers a decentralized network where miners are rewarded for keeping it strong and safe. Dash has made a huge impact in the crypto world. Start your journey. Check out Dash.org for more information and get in now on the future of cryptocurrency. Dash.org.
You've heard of Bitcoin Cash, but did you know there's now a Bitcoin Cash wallet? The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
From the third letter of Captain Mark. The Crown's observation conditions us to be dishonest with ourselves. Therefore, constant surveillance produces a society of constant deception. Honest communication is the seed of civilized conduct. To deny us this seed is to deny us its fruits. But the Crown's primary objective is to stifle free thought itself, to make its subjects incapable of dissent. Seasoned pirates have always encrypted messages and codes and ciphers, so intercepted transmissions were incomprehensible. But today, the Crown possesses advanced tools of pattern recognition that document, profile, and predict our every move. Today, piracy requires hailing frequencies completely invisible to the Crown. We are tired of poltergeists in the static. Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels, or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road underground market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You may dial toll free and join us right here. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well. Skype username is LRN.FM. We also have the on-air call-in line in our Discord, which you can join over at discord.lrn.fm. In the studio with you, it's Ian.
And Chris.
And Darryl.
We're going to talk about the online gaming loot boxes, which is different from the real world loot crate / box things that you can order from various different companies that want to send you a bunch of crap. Sometimes that, companies probably couldn't sell, or
right. And
sometimes companies that want to sell you something.
Right. And I did some searching here. The loot box, or rather the loot crate company. And Loot Crate, different from Loot Box.
Yep.
Loot Crate, the real-world physical things, that company started in 2012. The Loot
it is newish,
Boxes, and even Loot Boxes are fairly recent. So they started...
You're talking about the gaming
The gaming thing. Started around 2007. The article here says between 2007 and 2010. Originally... being a way to monetize the free-to-play mobile game. So it's what they referred to as the freemium model.
Right, where you get the game first up
and
front.
then, you want to be able to play past level 5? Give us money. You want to be able to upgrade this?
Right.
Give us money. But it was really 2016 with a game called Overwatch.
Yep.
that these things started working their way more prevalently in full-priced titles.
Right, and that came around again with the new Star Wars game, Battlefront 2, where there was a huge controversy when that came out.
Yes,
because you paid $60 for the game, but then if you wanted to get Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader as the character model in the game, you had to either grind for hundreds of hours in the game, or you could just buy a loot crate.
But there were people that paid like the deluxe premium edition, where they were paying well over $100, I think somewhere close to $200, and they still didn't have some of these characters.
Well, yeah, and I don't know if it worked to where you could just straight up buy the character, like I want Luke, and pay $7,000 or whatever it would be that you'd have to pay for Luke. Or if you just had to buy, I don't know what it was.
He's speculating.
It was probably $5 or 10 or something like that. But if somebody's out there who actually played the game can tell us, feel free to call in at 855-453.
I would be super interested in knowing what kind of numbers we're actually talking.
But somebody actually did do the calculation. Somebody calculated what it would have cost if they went through and got every possible upgrade to the Star Wars game, and it was something like $2,000.
Wow.
Yeah. If they, I don't know. Again, I don't know if it was where you could just specifically say, I want Luke, I'm willing to pay $3 for Luke or whatever, or if it was where you had to keep rolling the dice on these loot boxes, because the thing with these loot boxes on the games, as I understand it, is sort of like the real-life loot boxes. You don't know what's in it. You are buying this loot box, and then out pops upgrades for your game.
Yeah, I think that's what makes it gambling, or why they're calling it gambling.
And that we haven't even gotten into the story yet.
That's kind of what the story is about here.
So it's some state wants to prohibit these loot boxes. We'll get into it, but let's go first to we've got Discord where Big Loaf is on the line. Hello, Big Loaf. Do we have Big Loaf? Oops, you know what? I think that I screwed that one up. That was my bad. I was actually in the chat with Big Loaf asking him what the topic was. Big Loaf, you're now there and you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, evening, gentlemen.
Hey, what's on your mind tonight?
Yeah, I forgot the gentleman at the end of the table. His name was it Chris?
Yeah, Chris.
Yeah, Chris. I guess we met back at All Things Open here in Raleigh. So good to talk to you again. Sort of wanted to get your opinion on what to make of this Intel fiasco with the Meltdown and Spectre. What have you seen in terms of like performance impact, and does it trouble you? And
hold on, before we get into the question, let's talk about whatever Meltdown and Spectre is. I know Spectre was a movie, I think James Bond. So what are we talking about here?
No, we're talking about CPU bugs, basically.
Is this the one where Intel had a bug in all of their chips since like sometime in the 90s that could allow for like a backdoor access?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, that one sounded pretty bad. So what's the question about that?
So what kind of performance hit is it? I think is what he was asking for, right?
Yeah.
I
mean, what have you seen?
To what? To fixing the problem?
Yeah. So the fix. What kind of performance hit does it take to the patches that fix the problem, basically?
So you're saying
it's a security issue.
So patching this would make the computer worse off?
Yeah, it makes it slower.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It really depends on what you're using the computer for. So I think Intel's got a point on, it's kind of got a point in their defense, like, or their defense sort of is something to the effect of, well, it kind of depends on what you're using it for. It can be significant, but it can also be less significant. So it's somewhere between 5 and 20% is what it is. So it can it can be. I don't know what the I haven't really looked into it personally myself to see what kind of impact.
Do you not
really
use
had.
Intel chips?
No, we actually do. We use Intel. We actually use Intel chips exclusively at the moment.
Really?
For well,
are you anti-AMD for some reason? Because it seems like they're looking pretty good right now. What with this bug with Intel?
No, because AMD's got other issues.
They got their own problems.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of different. Yeah, I mean, you're kind of unfortunately.
So basically, you just have to figure the NSA is in your computer at all times.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Well, yeah, and about that, I was going to ask in particular, other than performance. I mean, being into cryptocurrency, I mean, to me, this seems to have like pretty serious ramifications, right? Does this bug at all concern you in terms of?
No, it shouldn't have any impact on cryptocurrency, as far as I understand. I mean, so usually with cryptocurrency, you're not mining with the CPU, you're mining with GPUs.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, theoretically, it shouldn't. I mean, feel free, anybody out there who's more knowledgeable, to correct me on this one. But if you're using the GPU, and unless this impacts the GPUs, which I'm not aware that it does, but it does impact more than just Intel.
Wallet passphrases or keys, those have to be loaded into main memory, and these side channel attacks seem to be juicy opportunities to rip off people's wallet keys and stuff like that. So I mean,
yeah, absolutely. So the question is also how much, to what degree will it actually impact people in practice too? Because you have to have access to the computer first before the attacks work. So it's I think it's more of an escalating attack as opposed to, they'll just have access to your computer, or anybody.
So hold on. So wait, just to clarify, this Intel bug that has been affecting the Intel chips for 2 decades, basically, the attacker physically has to get access to the chip in order to utilize it?
No, well, I mean, remotely, yeah. So they have to break into your system
and physically
first.
are two different
things.
That's
a whole different world. So they can remote in or no?
No, not from these particular set of vulnerabilities that we're talking about.
For example, on a web page, that could be used, and that's Spectre, right, to access other parts of the memory that it otherwise wouldn't be able to access. So craftily scripted JavaScript, could, in theory, be stealing people's Bitcoin wallet. Stuff.
So the best idea is to go ahead and update your operating system in this case, and don't ignore that stuff. Hey, thanks for the call tonight, Big Loaf. I appreciate it, because as I understand it, most of the major operating systems have patched this problem. More coming up.
It's more complicated.
Campers and survivalists, get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact, and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I'm here to tell you about GCNtelecare.com, a team of board-certified doctors assisting you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Within 15 minutes of registration, care your family can afford. Revolutionizing the healthcare industry, virtual consulting providing diagnosis of non-emergency medical issues by phone or secure video on computer or smart mobile devices. GCNtelecare.com. Virtual care anywhere.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You are invited to join us here on the radio, and you can, of course, take control of the airwaves, as we like to say. You can bring up anything that's on your mind. Our number here tonight is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We're talking about the relatively new phenomenon of loot boxes, not to be confused with the loot crates, which are a brand
physical
item, a physical box that they send you things in them in the mail. We're going to talk about the loot box, which is something that you can get in a video game, and apparently there's some politician, or maybe more than one of them, in Washington State that wants to do something
apparently
about
Hawaii
this.
Too.
So we're going to get into that coming up here in moments. It's Ian, Chris, and Darryl in the studio. We'll also take your calls about whatever you want. Speaking of ordering things online, you can go and get the Blink Home Security System delivered to your door, and if you forget that you ordered it, you'll be really happy when it shows up because it's affordable, number one, so you won't break the bank ordering this thing. In fact, you can get 3 Blink cams for what some of the other guys will charge you for one of those wired cameras in the wired camera systems. The thing that makes Blink different, it's wireless, and it's super easy to set up. And when I say wireless, I mean the cameras themselves are wireless. There is one wire in the system, which is the power cable that plugs the hub into your power outlet. And then once you get the hub plugged in, you pop the batteries in the cameras, and you put them where you want, and you get it all set up via your Wi-Fi-enabled device like a smartphone or tablet. Super easy to do this process. I've gone through it myself here at the studio. And so whether you get a small business or a home, this is going to help you out. Go to blinkprotect.com/FTL to get yours. That's blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. As we continue, you can bring up anything more about loot boxes on the way. Oh, yeah, before we go to this call, you said something right at the end of the last segment, because we were talking about this Intel bug that is affecting, like, apparently every desktop, laptop, Intel chip that has been manufactured since sometime in the 1990s. So pretty much everything in operation today.
I think sometime in the mid-90s, 97 or 5 or
right.
something like that.
So basically anyone with an Intel chipped computer today
any kind of modern system
is suffering from this. I had heard that, oh, don't worry, just update your operating system, whether it's Windows or Linux. Just go through the update process, and there's a patch that's going to fix this. In fact, our caller was just asking what's the damage this patch is going to do, because apparently, unlike other patches that just fix a bug, this patch actually makes it so your system goes 5 to 20-something% slower, is what you said.
It's actually, so it's complicated because...
But you're saying the patch isn't going to work?
First, shouldn't we explain what exactly is happening here to why the patch winds up slowing it down?
If you can, without getting too complicated.
All right, so I heard someone give the following analogy. Okay. Let's say that you're a regular customer at a restaurant.
Yep.
And you're so regular that as soon as you walk in, the chef knows, Ian's here, he wants General Tso's, starts making General Tso's chicken.
Mm-hmm.
You change your mind one day. He's already started preparing the General Tso's. That's basically what these processors are doing. This is Ian's routine. Goes
it's
here,
like predictive analysis
starts doing
or something.
That predicting what's going to happen next. You change up the routine. Well, here's all of this extra stuff that I just made thinking you were going to order General Tso's.
Okay.
You got pork fried rice. I now hate you.
You got wasted food costs.
So now I've got wasted food. The computer has wasted stuff, and something's got to happen with that.
Yeah.
So by fixing the patch, it's no longer starting to prepare that General Tso's chicken when you walk in the door because, well, now I've got to wait until he orders. And so then it slows everything down.
Is that a good analogy?
I don't want to comment. I think it's as good as an analogy as, it's good enough to explain an issue, regardless of whether it's accurate or not.
But is it fixable? Because everybody was acting like, oh, yeah, it's no big deal. Just update your operating system. And you're saying it's complicated.
Okay. So it's complicated because a lot of these fixes are actually resulting in bricked systems. And when I mean by bricked systems, I mean like they basically don't boot anymore. So
now, are we talking about like old systems from the past? Because
I'm thinking more recent systems. Because I don't really know exactly which systems are and are not.
Because most older systems probably don't even have software that's being updated these days, right?
It's got to be newer systems because even servers are being affected. And servers, you don't run old servers. I mean, you just don't do it. It's not cost
bad security.
Right. Well, not security. It's a cost effective thing. It's power energy usage. Sure. So systems get more efficient, so you can run more. But if you use an old system, it's less energy efficient, so it costs more. And electricity is the main cost in a server type of environment. So so you just don't do it. So it's got to be affecting newer systems.
Okay, so are you
I just
saying
don't know
that,
the details of which systems.
I want to clarify though. Are you saying that if people upgrade if they do the update and they get the patch, and they might take a small performance hit because they've gotten the patch, but you're saying some people have had their systems completely brick, meaning they won't even turn on.
Exactly. Well, I don't know if I would go so far as saying they won't turn on, but they won't
boot up.
They won't boot up. Yeah.
Now, are you also saying that it is ineffective to even get the patch even if your system does boot up? Or if your system boots after you patch it, you're good to go?
If it boots up, if you apply the patch and it boots up, you're good to go.
Okay.
I mean, you're going to take a performance hit on certain things.
What are the odds that this patch is going to, not that you know, I'm just kind of asking, what are the odds that the patch is going to kill your system?
I don't know.
Okay. But you've heard about it.
It's significant enough. Yeah, absolutely heard about it. I'm aware of it. I have not.
Have any of your customers at thinkpenguin.com encountered this?
Nope. None of our customers have encountered it.
Is it because it won't affect Linux computers?
No, nothing to do with that.
You know what I mean by is
it's a
does
CPU.
The freezing issue happen with Linux computers as well as Windows? Or
it's not a freezing issue. It's a
the non-booting issue.
Yeah, non-booting issue. I guess is the best way
Normally,
to
when it's not booting, it's frozen at some point in the boot process, though, right? Like it's not booting for some
crashing
reason.
Something. I'm not sure exactly what happened specifically. I just know that the term that's being used is bricked.
So could any operating system get bricked by this patch, or is it only affecting Mac and Windows?
It's not the operating system. It's a CPU. It's a patch for their CPU microcode. So it's not really an operating system specific problem, even though the operating systems are what are pushing out the patch.
Now this is interesting to me because I mean I'm definitely not the level of programmer or expert that you are on this, but I built a few computers in my time.
Yeah, I mean don't get me wrong here. When we're talking about this stuff, I can't even tell you like specifically which vulnerability and
I got you, but you're programming. As far as I'm concerned, as far as this show is concerned, you're a programming expert. You know how to program.
Yeah,
you've been a programmer for a long time.
Oh, yeah, I got the degrees and everything.
So here's my question: when I apply a patch, and I'm talking about any old patch here to an operating system, I thought those patches mostly are fixing the operating system bugs. I didn't realize that it was even possible to modify the firmware of a CPU through an operating system. I would figure you'd have to like go through your BIOS or the UEFI, the sort of low-level system, to update something like that. How in the world can the security of these chips be invadable through just a regular operating system? Is that a thing?
So
that sounds super dangerous to be able to.
It's super complicated, and I'm not sure I can even explain it because there's different. First of all, we're talking about different vulnerabilities. One of them I think is escalation. I was talking about, and I shouldn't have said it the way I did because I guess the other one maybe doesn't really have to be an escalation type of vulnerability. So I mean, he was talking about JavaScript and It's kind of breaking out of the box that it's being put into that you would expect to be put into. So I guess it might work where you could run a JavaScript. JavaScript runs on your computer itself, unlike just like HTML that doesn't really run on your computer. It's just interpreted by your computer.
You could run JavaScript that could change the fundamental way the processor works at the lowest possible level. That just seems so dangerous to me. Like, that seems like super risky.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Do you see why I'm saying that's risky?
Yeah.
Because I mean, just for our listeners that maybe don't understand, it would seem to me that you wouldn't want a program that some fool can write to be able to change the fundamental basics of how a processor operates.
I think the way systems are designed and the CPU microcode and all of that is there's so many flaws and dangers to it. We don't know what's being run on our computers and our CPUs. And this is a major issue. I don't know if I really explained it well enough. So I think the questions you're asking are not quite right.
But what you're saying is people who bought from thinkpenguin.com have not encountered
not because of anything we did, though. This is all Intel and AMD they're at fault here.
There's more on the way here in moments. So, yeah, basically you just have to figure that the NSA has access to your computer 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
Because you can't fix
Very true.
all the things that could be broken. And you don't even know what could be broken.
And this doesn't even...
More coming up.
Live from the Verticoin studio. This is the call to freedom. It's the Crypto Hour, brought to you by Helium 47 here on LRN.FM. When you hear the faucet, be caller 5 to get some free coins. This is the call to freedom.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
The answer to being in control of your own healthcare is freedom from insurance. Become part of a group of self-pay patients that come together to share in each other's medical expenses. Individual share amounts begin at $107 a month and $347 for families. Choose from 3 health-sharing programs. Holistic treatments may be eligible for sharing. See guidelines. Discount programs available for dental, vision, and pharmacy. Go to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You may dial on in here toll free to bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well, and the Skype username is lrn.fm. Plus, I do want to make sure you know about Zencash. There's a lot of different options out there in the world of cryptocurrency. I mean, I think last check over 1,400 were listed over at coinmarketcap.com, and they don't even list them all. So there's a lot of choices out there. What do you do? How do you decide what to purchase or invest in? I am not an investment advisor. I cannot explain to you, and I suspect any investment advisor doesn't really know what the hell they're talking about anyway. But you probably should do a little more than throwing a dart at a dartboard and randomly hitting some crypto that you've put up there. You should probably do a little bit of research. Zencash.com is where you can go to learn about Zencash. It started in 2017, so it's one of the new kids on the block. It was started by people who actually care about freedom. They actually wrote into the white paper, voluntarism is in the white paper. It is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization, and they've got great tech as well. So like zero-knowledge anonymity, they got it over at Zencash. How about decentralized autonomous organizations? That's what they're implementing for the governance structure of the currency as well. So they've got, I think, some really good things in their corner. And when I heard them recently, one of them, their founders, was being interviewed on the Call to Freedom. You were on that show, Chris.
You had
a lot of good questions.
I interviewed. Helped. I asked a lot of questions, and I was impressed.
And you were blown away. And you're not an easy person to impress. I would just like to say, as far as tech is concerned,
absolutely not.
Your standards are like way off the charts as far as what you are paying attention to.
I don't even live up to my own standards. They're so high. Yeah.
So when you said you were super excited about it, I thought, okay, that's pretty cool.
And I was super excited before I even knew much, before I even asked them a lot of questions to narrow down, and mainly that was because of the zero knowledge proofs and Zero Coin, which is the protocol that they adopted for it. So,
and they're apparently upgrading to some extent as well. It's apparently a little bit different than Zcash and a little bit more secure than, as I understood, what y'all were talking about on the radio. I forget exactly what the reason that was.
Well, one of the aspects I thought was just amazing was that they adopted something similar to Dash as far as a community structure.
Right. That's the decentralized autonomous organization.
Yeah. So it's like they hit every single thing that I could even think of, and then some, because we had other technical people on asking questions. I mean, they hit every one of them.
Zencash.com. You want to go do your own research, get started there. It's available. They got their own wallet, but you can also get it in Coinomi. So it's available in a few different places as far as how you can hold on to it. Once again, that's Zencash.com. As we go to,
I would recommend their wallet.
The mobile one?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's the only one I've yet to actually try. I've tried their the desktop version.
I probably would say that too.
It's generally good practice to use the wallet that's put out by the cryptocurrency developers.
Yeah, but at the same time, you don't need to have a billion different wallets. I mean, I like the multi-cryptos because it keeps it simple.
1,400 different crypto coins.
I know that, but still, if you've got a dozen cryptos and then you got to have a dozen wallets, it's just a lot easier to have one Coinomi wallet.
I
and
understand
put them all
that
there.
perspective. I'm a big fan of selecting individual wallets, mainly because I want to know what's on my system, and I know that if I select one of these multi-currency wallets, you're going to end up with stuff you don't want on your system. And I just can't trust all the different components that are being included. But maybe something does work because there are most of these cryptocurrencies are just forks of one another, so they're based off almost the same code. So maybe it does work more than I think, but I still just don't trust any of them.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. But at some point, unless you're a programmer like you are, the average person can't read code. They're going to have to trust some expert at some point. They're going to have to trust somebody who says, look, this is a good piece of software. Now, we don't actually know because we haven't read the code, and some of the code isn't even available.
Oh, yeah.
In
Absolutely.
fact, Koinomi closed their source a little while back, which is unfortunate.
That's really unfortunate.
And their excuse for that was something about how they were like, I forget what the excuse was, but it wasn't a particularly good excuse.
Never is.
But regardless, you still don't know what the hell's in these things unless you're a programmer and you've taken the time to audit them.
The only one that does do multi-currency that I've installed is the Copay wallet. Actually, I found that to be acceptable from my perspective. And
that one only does like Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's in beta, so I would not call it ready for prime time. So yeah,
let's go to the phones. In this case, not to the phone lines, but to Discord, where we've got Stefan in Ohio on the line with us here. Hello, Stefan.
I'd like to discuss a topic I've been into for the past couple of days.
All right.
I've been reading up about this guy called Robert Lanza. Have you heard of him?
Robert Lanza.
Can't say I have.
The name rings a bell, but not coming to me. Who is he?
He's most known for his research on stem cells and using them, to treat stroke victims of such. But he's also into the idea of what's called biocentrism, which is the idea.
Oh, I've
never heard of that either.
Let me see if I can recollect biocentrism. That is the idea that the universe it basically exists because you're in it, right? Like, go ahead.
Yes, that is the main point of it, but it's also the idea that, quantum physics basically makes the afterlife a mathematical inevitability.
Hold on. I want to see if I understand this correctly. So, Ian, you're saying that under this theory of biocentrism, the universe only exists because I exist, which means that when I'm not in a room with somebody, that person doesn't exist, and when I go to sleep, the universe ceases to sort of actually be a thing?
It's the idea that it only exists because there are conscious observers, not necessarily just one person, but because others can observe it and actually understand it.
Okay, so what's the thing to describe what I just described, to where nobody exists unless I'm having some sort of interaction with them?
Your consciousness does not... Okay, so let me try to word this in a way that most people...
Look, here's a paragraph from biocentrismnews.com. According to this, the theory explains that life and biology are the central pieces to being, reality, and the cosmos. It explains how life creates the universe rather than the other way around. That's a better way to put it, that without life, the universe would not exist. So the universe did not come first. Life came first, is what he's saying.
Even smart people are crazy?
Or just consciousness in general. The most interesting part about it to me is a lot of people use this as a way to kind of explain the afterlife. That once you die, your consciousness continues to persist while it may not be in the way it does now. So, a lot of people who have beliefs in the multiverse, for example, think that after you die, you just go to a different universe because your consciousness just goes away to a different universe.
Maybe that exists in one level of the multiverse, because the way I view the multiverse is every possibility is happening in one of the
dimensions,
things.
Right? So there's the possibility where you are the president of the United States.
And there's a multiverse.
I live there.
Hold on. There's actually a multiverse where the multiverse doesn't exist. Think about that.
You're blowing my mind, Darryl.
Yeah, I don't know, man. The plausibility of this stuff is like,
And
I
I'm
think the
not even
multiverse
high.
is more. It seems like the multiverse idea is more probable than this bio stuff. It's just, I don't know.
Biocentrism?
Yeah, biocentrism.
Ooh, could we build a biodome and have Pauly Shore come hang out with us? That sounds more fun than discussing
Whatever
this
happened to Pauly Shore?
biocentrism.
What's he doing these days?
He got stuck in the biodome? I don't know.
Biocentrism builds upon the ideas of quantum physics. While physics is considered essential to the study of the universe and chemistry essential to the study of life, biocentrism puts biology before all other sciences in order to develop a theory of everything, a theory of the universe. Lanza, and I know we've talked about this before on a few different occasions, when describing this theory, Lanza explains that what we call space and time are forms of animal sense perception rather than external physical objects. Understanding this simple yet revolutionary idea provides us with new ways to answer some of the major puzzles of mainstream science. Biocentrism offers a new way of understanding everything from the micro world to the forces, constants, and laws that shape our entire universe. And they published a book in 2010 about this called Biocentrism, How Life and Consciousness Are the Keys to Understanding the True Nature of the Universe. All right, so go ahead with your thoughts, Stephanie.
So the main question that I ask myself when thinking about this all the time is, does that mean that after an individual dies, the universe ceases to exist? Or does the person's consciousness continue to perceive the universe without the body?
Well, that's something we're never going to know until we get there.
I don't know, man.
How
The
high
way this is being described
does somebody
just
need
sounds
to
like crazy.
be to come up with this theory?
I find it fascinating. I don't think it's crazy. I mean,
think it's very interesting.
Maybe
Hang on, Stephen.
the details
Hang on.
make sense, but not the description.
Well, I mean, I'm curious to know what you mean about that. We'll continue here in moments. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Whether it's comments on biocentrism or whatever is on your mind. We still have to talk about loot boxes.
Oh, yeah.
On the way, possibly being banned in one state. It's Free Talk Live.
Hey guys, pardon the advertising interruption to your radio program. Do yourself a favor and please listen carefully. If you have tried or wanted to try Viagra or other male prescriptions in the last few years, you need to hear about Noxitril, the super pill that will transform your sex life forever. You see, Noxitril has been formulated and developed in U.S. FDA labs, and it's the real deal. Noxitril works, period. Strong results that increase blood flow fast. And best of all, there are no side effects like prescription meds. After years of research, the developers of Noxitril got it right. This remarkable pill is off the charts. Right now, we encourage you to take advantage of our incredible free bottle offer. So what are you waiting for? Noxitril. It's that good.
Call now and find out how to get a free bottle of Noxitril while supplies last. Call 1-800-993-2380. That's 800-993-2380. Free bottles for a limited time, so call now. 800-993-2380. 800-993-2380.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, January 26th, 2018. Silver is trading at $17.42 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,352 per ounce. Zen Cash is trading at $41, and the average price of Bitcoin is $11,493. Antiwar.com reports the U.S. continues to try to ratchet up the tensions with North Korea despite diplomatic progress being made between the two Koreas, and the Treasury Department announced new sanctions on Thursday against 16 people and 6 North Korean flagged ships. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin also called on all nations, particularly China and Russia, to expel all North Koreans from their territory, accusing them of trying to fund the nuclear weapons program by soliciting funds abroad and evading sanctions. International interest in in enforcing sanctions, particularly those imposed by the United States, has its limits. However, and recent reports suggest that North Korea has found itself new ways to evade sanctions, limiting their ability to export coal. Coal exports from North Korea to Russia, according to Reuters, was then passed on to South Korea and Japan, two of the nations that present themselves as most interested in enforcing the sanctions, but which appear less eager to go digging for technical violations through intermediaries. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. UPI reports the engineer at the helm of an Amtrak train that crashed in December and killed 3 people in Washington state mistook a signal on the tracks at the curve where the train derailed. The 55-year-old engineer and the 48-year-old conductor, who were in the lead locomotive at the time of the crash, were seriously injured and unable to answer questions from investigators until last week. The National Transportation Safety Board said the engineer reported he felt rested and was not distracted by the presence of the conductor, who is there to become familiar with the tracks and the territory. In a news release, the NTSB said the engineer knew there would be a curve with a 30-mile-per-hour speed limit at milepost 19.8, but he did not remember seeing milepost 18 or the 30-mile-per-hour advanced speed sign. The release said, as soon as he saw the 30-mile-per-hour sign at the start of the curve, he applied the brakes. Seconds later, the train derailed as it entered the curve. The NTSB said it is considering human performance, signals, train control, the tracks, and engineering in its investigation, which is expected to last 1 to 2 years.
For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co.
Reuters reports President Donald Trump is offering a path to citizenship for up to 1.8 million young undocumented immigrants, but insists on measures that would curb some legal immigration programs and provide a border wall with Mexico, according to a senior White House official on Thursday. The White House offered to more than double the number of Dreamers who would be protected from deportation, describing it as a major concession aimed at attracting enough votes for an immigration deal from Democrats. But the plan comes with significant strings attached to appeal to Republicans, including requirements to slash family sponsorship of immigrants, tighten border security, and provide billions of dollars in funding for a border wall with Mexico that Trump made one of his major campaign promises. The package was immediately panned by pro-immigration groups, which said the plan was a bad trade-off. It was also slammed by some conservative groups, which decried the expansion of amnesty for undocumented immigrants. The leader of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, Democratic Representative Michelle Lujan Grisham, said the Trump plan used Dreamers as a bargaining chip for sweeping anti-immigration policies. Early reaction from some Republicans in the Senate, where the plan may receive a vote in early February, was positive. Negotiations will be tough, with Democratic Senator Dick Durbin, who has championed the cause of Dreamers, saying the plan puts Trump's entire hardline immigration agenda, including massive cuts to legal immigration, on the backs of these young people. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
My fellow sheep, election season is upon us. Are you one of the 12% of Americans who still approves of our government? Then we need your help to force the other 88% into compliance. Our democracy depends on it. We're an organization called Citizens Against Too Much Unfettered Freedom, or CATMUF. CATMUF is a bipartisan flock of sheep whose goal is expanding government until nothing else remains. Because the government is here to help you. How can you help CATMUF help you? By only voting for candidates dedicated to expanding government. It's easy. You don't need to study the issues. No matter what a politician says when running for office, they're all dedicated to expanding government. And make sure you tell all your friends and family to vote for more government. Here at CATMUF, we don't care if you vote Democrat or Republican, as long as you vote for candidates committed to growing our federal family. CATMUF, Because folks just aren't smart enough to handle real freedom.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live, launching into the third hour of the program. We've gone from talking about elections and voting systems to loot crates. And still to come, we got to talk about the loot box, which there's a controversy. That's why we talked about the loot crates, was to differentiate them from the loot box, which is loot crates are the physical delivery of products to people's houses. The loot boxes are the online video game things that you can either win or pay for. And some of the people, the bureaucrats or politicians in Washington state, want to do something about that. We haven't even gotten into that story yet. That's still to come here tonight. With you in the studio, it's Ian,
Chris,
and Darryl.
But first, we're on the line with Stefan in Ohio. He's on our Discord call-in line, which you can access by going to discord.lrn.fm. That's where he's at. And you brought up the concept of biocentrism tonight. It is an issue or a concept that has come up previously on Free Talk Live at least a couple times in the past, and it's being promoted by a scientist known as Robert Lanza. And it says here in biocentrismnews.com that the theory explains that life and biology are the central pieces to being, that meaning that the universe came about because life exists, not the other way around. Not the universe gave birth to life, but life gave birth to the universe.
Hold on. So what existed before life? So this
what
makes
existed before the universe?
Yeah.
It's the same question. Go ahead, Stefan, with your thoughts.
No, it's not the same question. So
yes, it is. If life is the universe.
Hold on. No. So based on the theory of evolution, there was, like some single-cell organism that existed that became something else. Are you alleging here that that single-celled organism was conscious of being a single-cell organism?
That's not necessarily what's being alleged here.
Well, if it wasn't conscious of being a single-cell organism, it didn't exist because there was no consciousness around to say that it did exist.
Maybe the idea is that they don't believe in that theory.
Maybe the single-cell organism doesn't believe in you.
This is saying that consciousness creates the universe.
I'm on your side on that one, but
that's all this is. It's saying that consciousness creates the universe. Am I right about that, Stefan?
Yes, consciousness is the creation of the universe, and they say that the properties of the universe are based upon our perception. And the easy way to simplify this is with the question Robert Lanza posed, which is, if you were to alter your consciousness to perceive the sky as being green, is it actually green? It's green to you. You're perceiving it as green. So was it ever blue to begin with?
Well, I mean, there are people who are colorblind who don't see.
Technically, the sky isn't any color. What you're seeing are the UV rays.
That's true.
Are the UV rays actually blue?
No, it's scattered or something, right?
But that's a perception thing. That's not necessarily changes the, what's coming into your eye.
Well, right. I mean, the classic
the
argument
sky
is
still exists if you're locked inside a room.
Blue is just what we use to describe the sky. It's not as perceived by, people who are not colorblind, and it doesn't necessarily make it not blue just because you're not perceiving it.
This goes back to my earlier question of, based on this weird theory, does everything stop existing when I'm not interacting with it?
Well, there is actually
you can't disprove that.
There is a quantum. Now, look, I'm not a quantum physicist, but I've heard and I forget what the. I don't know if it's a theory or whatever it is, but there's some aspect to it where I think it's called the observer effect, where basically you cannot measure something unless you are, observing it. The particles or whatever.
It gets destroyed if you observe it.
The particles don't actually fall into any place until you observe and you try to take the measurement. Yes. Until then, they don't exist in any one specific place.
And then there are other
things
that I heard. I forget the exact sort of thing, but the particles knew they were being observed, so they had these two things in vacuum tubes, and I am not explaining this the best way that I could.
Yep.
But they had these two things in vacuum tubes that were separated, and there was one set of observers looking at the stuff in vacuum tube 1 and somebody looking at the stuff in vacuum tube 2 and somebody manipulating the things in vacuum tube 1, and the same exact thing was happening to the similar particle in vacuum tube 2. And there were a couple of times when the thing happened to the particle in vacuum tube 2 before it happened to the particle in vacuum tube 1.
Okay.
And the only thing that they could figure was that somehow the particles knew that they were being manipulated and watched so that they could then, like predict what was happening. Yeah, it was some kind of really weird thing. But when they stopped observing the one particular thing, then it stopped having the result. But how do you know it stopped having the result
because
if you weren't observing it?
I don't know. I got some way of figuring that crap out.
So this leads to one last thing, and this is why it's fascinating to me, especially the idea that particles can't have large activities or any activity without being observed. If that's the case, then how would the Big Bang have ever happened without an observer? If that theory holds its weight.
Well, the theory is that the observer is God, right? In that case,
yeah, and that's kind of where I fall. Not with any specific religion, don't worry, but that's kind of where I feel is that there had to have been something watching it happen if that holds true. Now, of course, not everybody agrees with this. I just find it fascinating and wanted to share it with you guys and kind of trip out with y'all.
I love it. Now, so I understand you've been in the hospital recently. Is that why this has been happening? You've been all of a sudden interested in life
all
after
sorts
death?
of drugs.
Yeah, I actually found a pamphlet advertising the book that Robert Lanza had. Yeah, somebody had left it in the waiting room. They left a pamphlet there. And, as a serious hypochondriac who's constantly afraid he's going to die, that kind of thing. What? Yeah, it's just a little problem of mine. I try not to worry too deep about it.
Unfortunately, death is a reality that we all have to deal with at some point.
But maybe death only happens because you think death happens.
Well,
yeah,
there is
a theory about that.
Right,
I was thinking if this all holds true, we've been doing the political thing all wrong, guys.
What do you mean?
Well, if it's our observation that affects everything, right? Well, then going to the state house is the wrong way to do it. We just need to observe it or
stop observing
the
state house. But here's the problem: other people are observing, so they will still continue to exist.
Oh, now you got my theory all in a mess.
Yeah, it's like the claim of, well, if everybody just stopped voting, then all the politicians would stop doing things. Well, no, there have been elections with 0 voters, and the legislative body in the area did not cease to exist. They broke the tie.
Right.
A 0-0 tie is still a tie. There are procedures for breaking a tie.
Unfortunately, we, apparently, and we don't really know for sure, but it appears as though we are all kind of creating this experience together, and so you do have other people out there that are affecting it. However, there's also the other argument that none of this exists and that it's all just a simulation, and that everything that you're experiencing is just being, transmitted to you essentially, and that
are you saying we're in the Matrix and I'm actually a battery for the computers?
You can't go faster than the speed of light because the clock speed is too slow.
I'm not sure it even matters. I just work with what I got.
Yeah, that's all you can do. That's all you can do is work with what you got.
But if the space train is going at the speed of light and then I walk forward on the space train, am I actually going faster than the
slows
speed
down.
of light?
Well, this was actually discussed on a TV series Stephen Hawking had made. In that case, time will purposely slow down to prevent you from going faster than that speed.
Time is relative, isn't it?
Yes, it is. You can't go faster than 186,000 miles per second.
Stefan, thank you for
maybe you
call.
can't.
He called us on the on-air call-in line on our Discord, which you can join over at discord.lrn.fm.
Now, there are people that they don't have any kind of thing to sort of understand time. There are a couple of ultra distance runners that they've got some kind of thing to where they'll be out running and they don't realize that they've been running for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours.
They're just like meditating basically while they're running, and they have no idea how much time is.
Like there's actually something crossed in their brain to where they can't comprehend time.
I see.
So could that person travel faster than the speed of light? Because time doesn't really exist for them.
There's more on the way here. Our number is 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Whatever you want to talk about, from the reality to the far out. This is Free Talk Live, and you can take control of the airwaves here.
We're not high, I swear.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Thinking about getting into cryptocurrency? It's time you looked into Dash. Dash is digital money that you can use to send instant and private payments anywhere for pennies. Dash offers a decentralized network where miners are rewarded for keeping it strong and safe. Dash has made a huge impact in the crypto world. Start your journey. Check out dash.org for more information and get in now on the future of cryptocurrency. Dash.org.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core wallet that allows you to send and receive either currency with anyone, anywhere in the world. The Bitcoin.com wallet supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Download the Bitcoin.com wallet for easy and secure access to your Bitcoin Core and your Bitcoin Cash. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available for Android, iOS, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. Learn more at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live. You may dial toll free to join us on the radio waves. Here our numbers 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype as well. The Skype username is LRN.FM. We've got also the Discord call-in line, which has been utilized a couple times tonight so far. I think we've had more Discord callers tonight than any other. Discord.lrn.fm is where you can go. You just jump on into that on-air call-in line room. We'll notice you there, and we'll join you, and you'll be on the radio with us. And tonight, the us is Ian,
Chris,
and Darryl.
Okay, we're going to continue with your calls and thoughts, and then we'll get into the loot box story. Apparently, some politician in Washington State is very upset about these online gaming loot boxes that, we'll find out what he has to say about them here, because for some reason they're controversial. But first, we go to Ricky on the line in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania via Skype. Go ahead, Ricky.
Thank you there, Brother Freeman. You know, that was such a pleasant surprise I had tonight with Brother Darryl and Brother Chris with that interview, and it's the damnedest thing. I just received a call from somebody, and they actually gave me a request, and I think it's kind of important. You know,
Okay. Did they request that you play a banjo and juggle chainsaws? Do we get to guess what the request was?
What's that?
I said, do we get to guess what the request was, or are you just going to start singing a song?
Well, I don't know. You want to try to guess at what it is?
I already guessed that they asked you to play the banjo while juggling a chainsaw with one hand.
Down with the eagle and
I
up
would
with
pay
the
to see that.
Well, you're wrong there, brother. No. What it was about is I am running as an anti-federalist, and that's gonna, I know that came up kind of last night. You know how I'm gonna run? I'm gonna run as a true anti-federalist.
Does that mean you're against the federal government? Because if so, I support that.
Well, I mean, ultimately, yes. But ultimately, what am I against most? The 1854 Republicans. Now, the question was
they're
about
all dead.
No, they're not. Oh, yeah. Speaker Ryan is far from dead, and for that matter,
Speaker Ryan wasn't alive in 1854.
Are you saying the speaker is a vampire? Because that would be the only explanation for why he would still be alive since the 1800s.
No, these are the Lincoln.
It would make sense too that if they were like a secret group of vampires in Washington D.C.
That is a conspiracy, and maybe under this Tony Danza theory of the universe, he actually is a secret vampire because somebody has the perception that he's a secret vampire.
Ricky, you might be onto something here. Thanks for the call tonight. I hope you spread the word about the vampires in D.C.
Now, I am curious if when he said he's running as a true anti-federalist, that means he's going to petition onto the ballot to have the term anti-federalist appear as his party label.
You'll have to ask him that the next time he calls, which will probably be tomorrow, but you won't be here. So
well,
Friday.
He's always listening.
Right.
Or at least I'm guessing that he's like Santa Claus to where he's always listening. So he knows the question.
And he has lists.
Yes.
Which list are you on?
Oh, boy. The hell if I know?
All right. Toll-free number, 855.
Probably the list that I can't say the name of
450
on the radio.
Free, like freedom. All right, let's get into the story here. Where's it from and what's happening?
All right, so this story is from Ars Technica. The legislative. Okay. So the story title is "The Legislative Fight Over Loot Boxes Expands to Washington State."
I didn't know there was one already. All right.
So it started off in Hawaii.
Okay.
So, let's get into this. So the government backlash against video game loot boxes, the randomized in-game item purchases that some observers and legislators consider a form of gambling, moved from Hawaii to Washington State earlier this month. That's when a group of 3 Democratic state senators introduced a bill that would require the State Gambling Commission to examine loot boxes and determine whether games and apps containing these mechanisms are considered gambling under Washington law.
Now, are they also going to examine Chuck E. Cheese to see if Chuck E. Cheese is gambling? Because there have been lawsuits across the country. Now, I've never actually been able to find out how any of these lawsuits have finished, because every news article that I find is just some mother suing Chuck E. Cheese and never an article about, the case wound up getting dismissed.
Well, I guess at Chuck E. Cheese, they would say that, like, the skee ball game would be a game of skill. What would be the I haven't been in Chuck E. Cheese in a long time. So give me a good example of a game that might be considered to be gambling in a, pizza
they've got,
parlor.
like, the Will of ticket sort of thing where you put in the token and spins a wheel, and then you just get however many tickets the number lands on.
Yeah, but couldn't they argue that that's a game of skill because you're the one spinning the wheel and it could slow or go fast based on how you spin it?
Oh, anybody could argue anything, Ian. It's whether or not a judge agrees with it.
Right.
But my point is, I've never actually seen the results of any of these lawsuits, only headlines that there have been lawsuits.
And there's lots of examples of like that kind of thing. Like, what about DVD grab bags? I think we're talking about that off air, but
No, it was on air, I think.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they gave you a bunch of DVDs, and whether or not you get anything good is kind of left up to chance,
but that's
right?
not really like those aren't really gambles, right? Because
what makes it different?
No, you're gambling that you might get a movie that you want to see. But
there's no chance that you're going to get more than what you paid for, right? So, like, if you put in $1 and you get a crappy DVD, well, you got a crappy DVD for $1. If you put in $1 and you get $1,000 worth of something back,
no. So
I don't know.
You might. And, value is subjective, right?
Sure.
So maybe I really want a DVD of Strange Brew because I like that movie and it's a really old movie. And I see that it's a possibility, but that there's 75 other titles that I don't want. I put it in.
Just
Hooray,
because
I got the one that I value more than $1.
Just because there's a chance involved doesn't make it gambling.
Well, what makes it gambling?
Well, okay, so
Is there
there's
a
going to be a
definition of
legal.
gambling here?
There's going to be okay. So let's clarify. There's going to be a legal definition, which is what they're talking about here.
Correct.
I've got the dictionary definition, which is in no way likely the same exactly as the legal definition, because in the legal world they can just define things however they want.
Right.
But the number one definition of gambling is the activity or practice of playing at a game of chance for money or other stakes. Generally, you have to have the risk of losing whatever it is that you put in and the possibility of getting back more than what you put in.
Hold on. Vending machines are gambling because you risk the chance that the item doesn't actually fall out of the vending machine.
I suppose that's a way to describe a possible very small level gamble. But generally, when things are working the way they are intended to, whether it's a DVD grab bag or whatever, you know you're going to lose the $1. You're putting the $1 into the machine for a chance at winning something. You may not win anything at all, or you may, well, actually, I guess. No, okay, so you will get the DVD. So in that case, you will get something for your $1.
I mean,
it may not be what you wanted.
The chance is to get something good, though, right? Like, I mean, the whole idea behind it is that you might get
hope
something
that you'll
good.
get something good.
So I've actually got the Washington state statutes on gambling, and they have carve-outs for amusement games, carve-outs for bingo, carve-outs for bona fide charitable or nonprofit organizations.
Right. All of those things are gambling, but they're just not illegal gambling.
Correct. Gambling, as used in this chapter, means staking or risking something of value upon the outcome of a contest of chance or a future contingent event not under the person's control or influence upon an agreement or understanding that the person or someone else will receive something of value in the event of certain outcomes.
All right, more on the way here about gambling. Do loot boxes meet that description there? We'll find out more about what exactly a loot box is. It's a sort of a video game thing that has become popular over the last several years. More on the way. This is Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Hawaii was a wake-up call. Don't be caught without a disaster shelter. Atlas makes an all-disaster shelter that will protect your family from fallout, tornadoes, and hurricanes for only $99.99. That also includes the NBC air filtration system, solid steel construction with an airtight, bulletproof door. That's right, for $99.99 and up. Call 1-855-4BUNKER or go to iwantthatshelter.com. Atlas Survival Shelters, the world leader in fallout shelters.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It is Free Talk Live. You dial toll free. Take control of the airwaves here. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Want you to know about Dash. It is digital cash. It's a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and it can be private and easy. Fees are low, transactions are quick, and can be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for pennies on the dollar. And Dash is decentralized and run by users like you who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. So join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. Take back control over your financial future today and find out more at Dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now. I just gave away $10 worth of Dash for free today.
Nice.
As a matter of fact, to somebody in the local area who is interested in getting their Dash wallet set up. We actually went out, the group of us, to a cryptocurrency meetup this week at a local bar and sandwich shop that accepts Dash as well as Bitcoin, but nobody pays with Bitcoin these days because of the fees. But Dash, man, they don't have the problem with the fees with Dash. It's very, very affordable to spend Dash, and so that's what people are doing here in the cryptocurrency world of Keene and Portsmouth, New Hampshire, where Dash is the prime crypto in the streets. Go learn more at Dash.org. As we continue, we'll take your calls and your thoughts about what you want. We've been discussing loot boxes. These are in-game bonus packs, basically, that a player can In some cases, as I understand it, they can earn the loot box by simply playing the game. But if you want more, you can buy loot boxes and then get more stuff and upgrades and so on and so forth.
And there's the claim by some that this is gambling.
And then they're going to try to ban it.
And I've pulled up the definition in Washington where this proposal is from, and I read part of the definition.
Of course, it's longer than,
Right. So, and I'm not going to read the entire rest of it, but it does say that gambling, as defined in this chapter, does not include bona fide business transactions valid under the laws of contracts.
Okay.
So when you purchase a video game, I have to agree to the terms of service of this thing.
Which no one reads.
Correct.
That's interesting.
So what you're saying is, Darryl, this law isn't going to go anywhere unless they actually change that part of the definition of gambling.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this proposal should not go anywhere.
Right.
And if there's a lawsuit, the lawsuit should be tossed because their definition says that gambling does not include business or anything valid under a business contract. Now, there could arguably be an argument that it's not a lawful contract per se because the person didn't actually read the terms of service.
Well, but then why wouldn't a casino open up and say, hey, in order to come in here, you just got to sign this contract. The contract lays out all the odds of the games. It lays out your rights as a buyer, what the chips cost.
Because there's still the federal law. There are federal laws that prohibit casinos.
But what about Vegas and Atlantic City and other places where there are casinos?
Now, I'm not sure about Las Vegas itself, but there's the one down in Connecticut that's on an Indian reservation.
Right. They get a special carve out.
Correct.
But that's not the case with Atlantic City.
And it's interesting. They're definitely
Atlantic City is arguably because that's ocean. That's arguably offshore gambling.
No.
That's how they're allowed to do it in Biloxi because it's offshore. Those things are in the water.
And are they really in Atlantic City? Every casino
I don't know
there
if in Atlantic City. I know in Biloxi, Mississippi, they're in the water. And I'm using air quotes there because after the hurricane that basically destroyed Biloxi, they wound up giving some kind of thing to where part of the building can be permanently affixed. But yeah, you walk out to where the part with the gaming floor, it's over the water.
According to the Wikipedia article on gambling in the United States, gambling is legal under U.S. federal law. There are significant restrictions, however, pertaining to interstate pertaining to interstate and online gambling. So if it's legal in a state, then you can have gambling.
New Jersey does have online gambling, but only within the state.
Within the state, right. Yeah. So if it's legal in a state, the feds are going to leave it alone for
Interesting. I was not aware of that. I thought that it was heavily regulated by the feds.
No.
I know
only interstate.
I know there was a lawsuit by at the international court or something from another country that had offshore gambling because the U.S. passed a law that said banks can't do business with offshore gambling or something.
That's right. That's what you're thinking of probably, or at least part of what you're thinking of.
I know that, and I also know that betting on collegiate athletics is basically prohibited at the federal level. There are some exceptions to where you can only do it in, say, Atlantic City and Vegas legally.
All right, let's get into more of the story. I want to hear the arguments from the people who want to ban this thing, if that's in there.
What the bill says is industry, state, sit down to figure out what the best way to regulate this is. Orcas Island Senator and bill co-author Kevin Ranker told the Tacoma News Tribune, "It is unacceptable to be targeting our children with," there we go right there, targeting
it's
our
for children
with predatory gambling masked in a game with dancing bunnies or something. So basically, doesn't even know
there are
what
dancing
he's talking
bunnies in Star Trek
No.
Battlefront?
I have to wonder, are there any games even with dancing bunnies?
I'm sure there's a dancing bunny out there somewhere, but that's just a dumb example by the is this the politician who's speaking?
Yeah, I mean the whole it is. I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, the politician. The fact
he's probably never played a video game in his life.
The fact that he says "or something" kind of makes
he doesn't know what he's talking about.
He doesn't even know what he's talking about. Yeah. The bill the bill text plus specific focus on the question of whether children who may be more vulnerable to gambling addiction should be allowed to access games with loot boxes. I think this is interesting. Maybe. So we don't even know. This isn't like nothing.
What maybe?
Maybe vulnerable. So
the kids may be
we don't
vulnerable.
even know, and we're trying to pass laws based off of things that may or may not even be.
So this seems to be an issue. If there is an issue here, it's an issue of parental involvement or the lack of it, right? Because parents, I'm sure some of them, don't want to have to pay attention to their kids. So they sit them down.
Johnny, go play your video game.
Classically, they'd sit them in front of Barney or whatever, but they have video games now. So, parents can actually set them in front of a video game. But look, parents, if you've put your credit card information into the PlayStation and you've given your child access to being able to spend on your credit card, then you shouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden you get a $200 credit card bill and it's all for bonuses on, the latest, hottest, greatest game. It would seem to me that most parents who even pay a smidgen of attention to their kids would probably not give their child their credit card information to put it into one of these video gaming systems. Because if you don't have, it's like the old arcade. I could stand there when I was a kid at the arcade and press the buttons on the arcade machine, but unless I put a quarter in, nothing was going to happen. And in the same way, you don't buy loot boxes unless you have a way to buy the loot boxes, and the average 10-year-old probably doesn't have a credit card in his own name.
So, yeah, interestingly enough, some of the systems out there make it really difficult not to give them your credit card.
The game itself?
The platforms, I guess, around it. So, like Amazon,
yeah,
Kindle,
but even so, you still have to... So I have a PlayStation 3 that I got, a decade ago.
And I don't know about the PlayStations or the Nintendos or, well, not Nintendos. I guess they're whatever I guess that's the name of the company. Nintendo.
We can talk about some of the platforms that I have some familiarity with. Usually, unless you've signed up for a subscription service, so like where every month you get free games or something like that, and like PlayStation, I think Xbox have those, then obviously you're going to get billed on whatever the subscription is. But as far as if you wanted to go in and buy a game, usually they want you to confirm that you are the credit card holder. So they ask you for a CVV number from the backside or the expiration or something like that. Something to confirm that it was you who actually wants to order this thing. Let's talk more about it coming up here in moments. It's Free Talk Live.
Live from the Verticoin studio. This is the call to freedom. It's the Crypto Hour brought to you by Helium 47 here on LRN.FM. When you hear the faucet, be color-fied to get some free coins. This is the call to freedom.
Thinking about getting into cryptocurrency? It's time you looked into Dash. Dash is digital money that you can use to send instant and private payments anywhere for pennies. Dash offers a decentralized network where miners are rewarded for keeping it strong and safe. Dash has made a huge impact in the crypto world. Start your journey. Check out Dash.org for more information and get in now on the future of cryptocurrency. Dash.org.
Non-attorney paid spokesperson. Could your house go into foreclosure? Are you behind on your mortgage payments? Does it seem like the bank has no interest in helping you save your home? And you feel like you have nowhere to turn for help? Then we have good news for you. Foreclosure Protection Services can help save your home as they specialize in foreclosure assistance. That's all they do. If you're behind on your mortgage payments, being threatened with foreclosure, have been denied a loan modification, or been the victim of a predatory loan, it's critical that you call Foreclosure Protection Services now at 800-667-9035. Their network of attorneys and their agents are available to speak to you now. If you're behind on your mortgage payments, Foreclosure Protection Services can help stop the foreclosure process. Call today before it's too late. New laws are in effect that may save your home.
Call Foreclosure Protection Services now at 800-667-9035. 800-667-9035. That's 800-667-9035.
Our very own Tracy met farmer Ray Kimball, who says that his horse, Franklin, has the ability to speak full sentences.
When did you first realize he could talk?
Well, I'd hear him saying things when I was sleeping, and then I'd go out to the barn and we'd have some real conversations.
Can we talk to Franklin?
He can't wait to meet you. Say hi, Franklin. What's that? That's a good one.
What did he say?
He said, "Who's the pretty lady?"
Aw. Franklin, do you like living on the farm?
Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
Did he say something?
Tracy, you live here now.
I spent a cozy night at Ray's farmhouse in a room he called the altar. I learned that the farmer has a whole lot more on his mind than just a talking horse.
You are my beloved.
This is the Onion News Network.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want. All you have to do is dial in. In these remaining moments, we will get you on the radio with us here. And the number for you is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Of course, you can bring up anything that you want. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian,
Chris,
and Darryl.
Don't forget to check more of Chris out over at his website, thinkpenguin.com. That's where you can go to get some cool Linux-based, privacy-oriented hardware. Computer hardware, laptops, desktops.
Yep.
You guys do desktops, and other cool stuff like a VPN router.
Yep.
For instance.
Yeah, we have all sorts of accessories for your computer.
So go check it out. And you're going to have something really interesting to announce soon. I don't want to broach the subject because you haven't given me permission to talk about it, but you're building something right now with electronic equipment in your home office.
You're building a Death Star?
That I will not say what it is, but you're putting something together
this is true.
that a lot of our listeners, I think, are going to be interested in when that happens.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah. So
miniature R2-D2s that run on the blockchain.
I'm hoping that you will give us, the news breaking announcement when it's ready.
We may want to wait a little bit until we've got stuff.
Yep.
As you said, when it's ready.
When it's ready.
Yeah.
I want an exclusive. I want Free Talk. A Free Talk Live
You'll be the
exclusive.
first.
All right, cool. So check out thinkpenguin.com. We are talking about the loot boxes. There's this politician in Washington who's apparently going off of what somebody else already did in Hawaii. And I don't know if it passed in Hawaii. I haven't looked into that yet. But the proposal here is to regulate loot boxes as though they are a gambling operation. And for those that aren't familiar, the loot box is an in-video game reward, basically. It's a thing that you can get by either earning it through playing the game or by just straight up paying for it. And it's usually a randomized thing, meaning that you're not buying a specific upgrade, you're buying the chance to receive a certain upgrade that you might want. You need a health bonus for your character? Well, go ahead and roll the dice and buy a loot box. Maybe it'll be in there, maybe it won't. But it also kind of reminds me of games like Magic the Gathering, for instance, a collectible card game where prior to its iterations on computers used to exist in physical reality where,
And still do, I think.
And still do.
Yeah.
But now they have computer game versions of it. But back in the day, in the 1990s, kids or teenagers or whatever were buying
I know people who are
card sets.
playing it recently even. So
absolutely.
The card game. So,
no, it still exists. I'm just saying that they didn't have video games for it back when it started.
Maybe not, yeah.
They didn't.
Well, no, because it was, the 70s or 80s?
No, it doesn't go back that far.
Oh, it doesn't?
Magic the Gathering, I think it
I'm not
started
that
in the 90s.
familiar with those games either.
Yeah,
so.
I'm pretty sure it started in the mid-1990s, but or early 90s. I think 93 might have been the first year.
I know some of kind of nerdy kind of games do date back farther than like Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons goes back to the 70s, I think. Yeah. But anyway, in Magic the Gathering, you would buy these booster.
93.
Thank you. Yeah, booster packs, and these were sealed packs that were pretty expensive. I mean, these things are not cheap, and you never knew what you were going to get in those packs. And some of those cards might help you, and some of them might not. So this is sort of like the same thing.
What about like Pokemon, or things that were specifically geared at children? Like
Same thing.
But there's a difference between something like Magic the Gathering, which is probably more focused at older kids and adults maybe than it is at children, whereas Pokemon was very clearly specifically at children.
There were definitely kids playing Magic the Gathering back in the day. I remember when I was in high school, I was in a school that had grades from from fourth grade through senior. So it was like a wide-ranging kind of grade level thing. And so we saw young kids playing Magic the Gathering. So it was definitely not for like babies or whatever, but it was definitely for kids. Like they definitely got it and were into it.
Sure. I don't doubt that there were. Yeah. I just don't. That game seems to be.
It was a craze. This was before Pokemon.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Because Pokemon, I don't think really hit in the U.S. until like
90s.
the mid 90s or mid to late 90s, whereas this was 93.
Probably maybe even late 90s. Yeah, definitely agree with you on that one.
I think Magic led to Pokemon being a craze. But again, there was that sort of aspect of you're paying $10 or however much, and you don't know what the hell you're getting. It might not even be useful, the cards that you receive. Same thing's true with the loot box. You don't know what you're going to get. Anyway, what is there more to the story?
Apparently, the Pokemon cards weren't released until 1996.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Mid to late 90s.
Yeah. There's definitely more to the story. So the bill puts the bill text puts specific focus on the question of whether children who may be more vulnerable to gambling addiction should be allowed to access games with loot boxes, and on the question of transparency around the odds of receiving each type of virtual item.
So they're saying they shouldn't even be allowed to access the game. So they're talking about some sort of restriction that would be age-based to prohibit people. So you adults, we're all right with you going ahead and gambling, but the children, we need to prohibit that.
The later point took on additional salience last month as Apple required such odds to be posted alongside games with loot boxes.
Really?
Apparently. Actual government regulation of loot boxes in Washington is still a ways off, though. Ranker's bill needs to be approved by the full Washington state legislature, which is narrowly held by Democrats, and be signed by the governor before being referred to the Gambling Commission. At that point, the commission would have until December 1st to form its recommendations for any regulatory.
Well, government sure does move fast. I mean, the children are in danger of losing all of their money, and they're just going to wait until December 1st?
Yep, and enforcement system the state might set up. So interestingly enough, we don't even know what they would actually do because that's going to be done by a commission rather than...
By December 1st, these kids could be out on the streets. They could have lost all of their savings.
They're not spending their money. They're spending their parents' money.
The kids could be out on the streets.
Don't have their own credit cards.
If they spend all their parents' money, then the whole family's going to be out on the streets. See, we need regulation. We need the government to stop this.
Responsibility. You know what? You gotta. You know what? The problem with regulating everything is that you totally remove responsibility for people's own actions. Mm-hmm. People have to learn at some point, and the longer you wait, the harder it is to teach people responsibility. And now we have adults who cannot take responsibility for themselves and need to be regulated.
This is how you can learn responsibility as a child. Is your parents can teach you about, hey, look, Johnny, you just spent $1,000 on our credit card bill on upgrading your Luke Skywalker character. So now you've got to pay for that, Johnny. That means you've got to go out and pull some weeds in the yard and start taking out the trash, or go down the neighbor's house and shovel some snow, and, give them the opportunity to actually learn what they've done. Because it may be true that a young person does not know anything about a credit card, right? Like they see their mom or dad pull it out at the shopping mart, and they think that it's just magic free money.
It's a fair point, but I mean, at some point you got to teach your kid money management, and
right.
I don't know. I was being taught money management when I was in probably first grade or maybe even younger.
Yeah, I can tell you're a successful guy. And, you've managed to do very well.
Basic money management, like you get a piggy bank kind of money management.
It wouldn't surprise me if most parents didn't even do that, man. Because they're not getting it from the schools, that's for sure.
No,
there's massive, bad money management habits out there.
I don't even think I had basic money management in school until I was at least in second or third grade.
We've talked on occasion on this show over the years, and even as recently as this Christmas time, we've talked about Americans' deplorable spending and saving habits that just, they don't have any money in savings. They have, if they miss a paycheck, they're out on the streets. They can't pay their rent. They're carrying thousands of dollars in credit card debt, and they have no hope of paying it off. They're getting into debt on top of debt, where the story in the last Christmas was many of the millennials going into the Christmas season who had overspent last year had not yet paid off the previous year's Christmas debt.
If you are spending, if you are going from month to month and you haven't paid off your credit card debt from last month, you got a problem.
Yes.
You need to think about how to pay that off and stop spending and putting more and more on the credit card.
That's what a financially prudent person would say. But somebody who doesn't understand, has no financial intelligence or experience, believes that the credit card is a way to put off paying for things.
Well, it can be for a little while, but if you're paying interest on that credit card,
and you will be.
And you will,
24%
as soon as you don't pay it off, that becomes a problem. It's not sustainable.
Right. Well, you and I, our perspective is you don't charge what you can't afford to pay for that month. Right.
Correct. Right. Exactly.
You don't charge more than that. But a lot of people are like, ooh, I can charge $3,000 worth of stuff and make $20 payments every single month for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And then you end up paying like tens of thousands of dollars for that few $1,000s. Let's go to a lady who knows a thing or two about money. She's Sarah in New Mexico. Sarah, you know a lot about money because you get free money from the government, right?
Well, what? I just want to say that, my friend has bought land, and he's getting ready for civil war. And
what?
So, yeah, well, he bought land 20 years ago.
Now, have you ever had a credit card? Because we don't have time to talk about a civil war tonight.
Well, I don't have a credit card, but I just want to say that he's going to take me up there. So I guess I'm all good,
Is there any cell phone reception up there, or is there a chance we're never going to hear from you again?
Well, you know what? I think your station's going to be shut down because they're going to be shooting.
Are you going to go into an underground bunker?
I don't know.
I am so sorry I didn't take this call sooner. Call tomorrow night. Call earlier, okay? You got to stop this last segment stuff, Sarah. I want to talk about what you're going to do about the impending civil war.
Her friend.
But we don't have enough time to. Well, she said she's going with him. We'll see you tomorrow. FreeTalkLive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your get intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
The latest episode of The Torchwood Report is next, after the news, on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, January 26th, 2018. Silver is trading at $17.42 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,352 per ounce. Zen Cash is trading at $41, and the average price of Bitcoin is $11,493. Antiwar.com reports the U.S. continues to try to ratchet up the tensions with North Korea despite diplomatic progress being made between the two Koreas, and the Treasury Department announced new sanctions on Thursday against 16 people and 6 North Korean flagged ships. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin also called on all nations, particularly China and Russia, to expel all North Koreans from their territory, accusing them of trying to fund the nuclear weapons program by soliciting funds abroad and evading sanctions. International interest in enforcing sanctions, particularly those imposed by the United States, has its limits. However, and recent reports suggest that North Korea has found itself new ways to evade sanctions, limiting their ability to export coal. Coal exports from North Korea to Russia, according to Reuters, was then passed on to South Korea and Japan, two of the nations that present themselves as most interested in enforcing the sanctions, but which appear less eager to go digging for technical violations through intermediaries. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zensystem.io. That's zensystem.io. UPI reports the engineer at the helm of an Amtrak train that crashed in December and killed 3 people in Washington state mistook a signal on the tracks at the curve where the train derailed. The 55-year-old engineer and the 48-year-old conductor, who were in the lead locomotive at the time of the crash, were seriously injured and unable to answer questions from investigators until last week. The National Transportation Safety Board said the engineer reported he felt rested and was not distracted by the presence of the conductor, who is there to become familiar with the tracks and the territory. In a news release, the NTSB said the engineer knew there would be a curve with a 30-mile-per-hour speed limit at milepost 19.8, but he did not remember seeing milepost 18 or the 30-mile-per-hour advanced speed sign. The release said, as soon as he saw the 30-mile-per-hour sign at the start of the curve, he applied the brakes. Seconds later, the train derailed as it entered the curve. The NTSB said it is considering human performance, signals, train control, the tracks, and engineering in its investigation, which is expected to last 1 to 2 years. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports President Donald Trump is offering a path to citizenship for up to 1.8 million young undocumented immigrants, but insists on measures that would curb some legal immigration programs and provide a border wall with Mexico, according to a senior White House official on Thursday. The White House offered to more than double the number of Dreamers who would be protected from deportation, describing it as a major concession aimed at attracting enough votes for an immigration deal from Democrats. But the plan comes with significant strings attached to appeal to Republicans Republicans, including requirements to slash family sponsorship of immigrants, tighten